What's going on, guys? What's going on? What's good? What's good? What's good? Waiting for you guys to hop on the live. What's good, peeps? What's good? What's good? What is good? What is good? Waiting for you guys to hop on the live. Waiting. Get your comments in, guys. Get your comments in. Get your comments in. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so nice look, bro. Thank you, Danny, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, bro. Zakamo. What's going on? What is going on? How's it going? Mr. Plant says he will beat Canelo twice and then give him a rematch if he wants it. And I want to talk a bit about, Sky Sports' new schedule as well, Taylor. But yeah, what do you guys make of it? Plant is talking. He's talking the big game. Can he deliver? Can he deliver? What do you guys think? Can he deliver? Or is it just all talk? What's going on, Zakamo? Great stuff, man. Great having you. Looking good, mate. Thank you. Appreciate it. Man, Plant does not have power. Yeah, he doesn't have power, man. He doesn't have power. You need a crack. You need a power. You need power to hurt Canelo, man. You need power. You ain't beating that guy, man, if you ain't got power. You need to have power. You need to be able to keep him off. Canelo's too strong otherwise. It's funny, yeah, it is funny. Like him saying that he's gonna beat him twice, and Canelo won't want the rematch potentially if he wins. And it's big talk, man. It's big talk. It's big talk. He better deliver. He better deliver. You know what the crazy thing is? You know, when a lot of these guys, like Billy was the same, like, when he fought Canelo, it's like these guys become famous. But then when Canelo beats them, they kind of go into their shell. Like Billy's just disappeared. Just laugh at Plant's comments now. Yeah, he made those comments recently. I think he's trying to hype himself up, Fair enough. That's how he wants to If that's how he wants to go, fair, he's entitled to do what he wants. Guys, everyone in the stream, can you smash the like button? I'd really appreciate if you smash the like button. The more likes, the better the stream. There's 9 of you in the stream. If you can smash the like button, I'd really appreciate it. Let's read out your comments, man. Man, Plant doesn't have power. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't have enough power. Yeah, Zakamo says it's funny. Jose says Benavidez got the best chance of beating Canelo, but even then, Canelo outboxed him. Nah, man. Benavidez, man. I don't rate Benavidez. Just laugh at Plant's comments now. Yeah. Yeah. He's a funny guy, Plant. He's funny. Plant will give him trouble, but at the end, Canelo will beat him. Yeah, I agree. I kind of see it the same way as you. I think maybe give him a bit of trouble and then get beat. So Untraceable Don says, so Bob Arum wasn't providing for Josh Taylor. No. Josh Taylor still signed with Top Rank. Josh Taylor is still signed with Top Rank. However, in the UK, he signed with Sky Sports. So the broadcaster in the UK, I'm in the UK, remember? So he will be fighting on Sky Sports. So we will get to see him fight on Sky Sports as a UK a guy, someone from the UK. So it doesn't really, if you're not from the UK, it doesn't really affect you much. You're still going to see him on ESPN on Top Rank. But in the UK, he'll be on Sky Sports. Sky Sports will be pushing him, which is good. Benavidez will get KO by Canelo easy. Yeah, I'd have to agree. Benavidez would definitely get KO'd by Canelo. Yeah. Yeah, so Josh Taylor, man, he'll be fighting on Sky Sports, which is great, really. I think Josh Taylor fighting on Sky Sports is always good to have the best fighters fighting on Sky. Good platform. It promotes their fighters as well. I think it's just great stuff. I think it's great stuff because Taylor needs all the promotion he can get, because at the minute he's not really a well-known fighter. So yeah, he needs all the promotions. Guys, everyone in the stream, if you can smash the like button, I really appreciate if you can all smash the like button in the stream. So Jose says, Canelo 8 GG shots with no problem. No way Canelo shows plant respect in the ring. Yeah, and that's the problem. Canelo 8 GG shots with no problem. Yeah, he certainly did. He certainly did. Wow, wow, wow. Danny makes a Danny. I like. These are the comments I like. These are the controversial ones. Davis will destroy Josh Taylor and end his streak. Will he? Will he end his streak? Wow. Wow, that's a big comment. That's a big comment there, Danny. I like those controversial comments. I talk about it. I want to see that fight, Danny. I want to see that fight. It's a good fight. Very good fight. Very, very good fight. You know, Davis can fight, but, you know, Davis is fighting, talking about him fighting Rolly, man. You know, come on. You know, fighting Rolly. Come on. You know, I want to see him fight Taylor, to be honest. I want to see him fight Taylor. That's a good fight. A dangerous fight. You know, that's the kind of fight where I have butterflies in my stomach, and a fight that I'd love to see. Definitely a fight that I'd be interested in. And Carl's in the house. Carl says, good evening from the hotbed of world boxing, Nottingham. Carl, I'm not sure. I'm not sure there's a lot of people in this stream that might even know where Nottingham is. Guys, do you know Nottingham? Have you heard of Nottingham before? Everyone in the stream, have you heard of Nottingham? I hope you have, because Carl's not going to be happy if you haven't. Have you heard of Nottingham, the city Nottingham in the UK? I hope you have. Jay Ledsmer says, doesn't have good movement. Who doesn't? Plant doesn't have good movement. Plant, he has decent movement. Yeah, Robin Hood. Everyone must know about Robin Hood. Yeah, Robin Hood was from Nottingham. The guy that used to steal from the poor to give to the rich. Oh, sorry. The other way around. The guy that used to steal from the rich to give to the poor. You must have all heard the Robin Hood story. Zakamo says, you need Canelo to beat Canelo. You need a Canelo to beat Canelo. Timing and power based on IQ beats Canelo. Yeah, Canelo, he's a different breed. So Caleb is definitely trying to sell the fight. But we know Caleb is trying to sell the fight, but we know how this will end. Yeah, in tears. So Ray, Davis won't beat Josh Taylor. Davis won't beat Josh Taylor, says Ray. Who is my friend that said, Danny, you hearing this, Danny? Ray's saying that Davis won't beat Josh Taylor. What do you think, Danny? How do you think Davis beats Josh Taylor? He's very small. Mario Gonzalez, Davis hasn't fought someone like Taylor. No, he hasn't. But Mario, has Taylor fought someone like Davis? Possibly. He's probably fought more. I think he's more closer, right? You could say that Regis Prograis. Possibly. Although I don't think Regis Prograis has got the explosive power. Hell nah. Josh Taylor outboxes him. Easy, unanimous decision. I think that seems to be the fair bet. Unanimous decision on points. Taylor will jab Davis' head off and beats him on points. Possibly. I think you know, if Taylor bites down on his gumshoe, it could even stop him, but it'd be risky. You know, it's giving Davis an opportunity to land one of those explosive uppercuts or something. So yeah, he could just jab his head off. No, I'm from California. Jose says Gonzalez. No, he's not heard of Nottingham. He's from California. Taylor is well established. Davis is honestly unproven. Taylor is well established and Davis is honestly unproven. Yeah. Yeah. I would go as far, though. I'd say that if Taylor was to beat Davis, that'd be his best win, I think. I don't know. Would you guys agree? Robin Hood land. Yeah, Robin Hood, indeed. Nottingham County Football Club. Nottingham Forest, you mean? Not Nottingham. Okay, what is Leicester known for? Carl saying, what is Leicester known? Answers on a postcard. What is it known for? I think the Premier League, really. I think winning the Premier League put Leicester on the map. I think people around the world got to know about Leicester when they won the Premier League. I think Jay says, I think Taylor frustrates Davis. Could do. Yeah, I think he's definitely got size, and he's definitely got the reach and height over Davis, so that he could definitely frustrate him without question. But Taylor likes to get involved in a fight. I don't know whether that would favor him against someone like Tank, or be to a detriment, because I feel like Taylor likes to get involved, and with Tank it could be dangerous. But again, we just don't know about Tank's power at 140, especially against Taylor. Yeah, guys, everyone in the stream, if you can smash the like button, there's 28 of you. If you can all smash the like button, I'd really appreciate it. Give the thumbs up, give the live stream a thumbs up. I'd appreciate you smashing the like button. David's in the house. David, good evening. You missed us talking about Josh Taylor. Canelo. Yeah. So if you read some of the comments, Dave, so people are saying, well, Danny made a comment that Davis would destroy Josh Taylor, but then a lot of people replied by saying, no, Taylor beats Davis on unanimous decision. That seems to be the overriding opinion. What's your opinion, David? You think Carl seems to think that Taylor will jab Davis's head off. Seems to be the opinion of most. What do you think? I literally seen the mail saying you were online, bro. Yeah. I sent a message. Taylor all day. Espinoza says Taylor all day. Haney v. That's a boring. That'd be boring. Haney's very boring. Haney v. Taylor. Who would I pick in that one? Taylor, man. Haney's not. Canelo will maul Plant. I don't think Canelo doesn't maul guys. Canelo's not a Maidana reporter where he goes forward and he just mauls you like that. I think Canelo's breaks you down, hits you with hard body shots. He basically breaks you down. Yeah. So I think I would definitely favor Canelo to break Plant down, not mauling him. Canelo's not the mauling type. He's not going to do what Maidana did to Adrian Broner, is he? I don't think he's going to do what Maidana did to Broner, where that was mauling him. Maidana mauled him. When I say mauled him, Maidana mauled him. He literally mauled Adrian Broner. That was a horrible fight for Broner. What's a good fight? Zach? What's a good fight? Okay, Lopez destroys Taylor. No chance. Wow. Danny's not a Taylor fan. He says Lopez. To be honest, that may be that. I think Lopez has a better chance to beat Taylor, to be honest. And that's a dangerous fight. That's a good fight. Lopez is a monster. He's big, he's strong, he can punch, he can box. That's a good fight. Tiafimo will beat. See, now everyone seems to say Tiafimo beats Taylor. What's up, Cookie Monster? What's up? I'm good, bro. You? Okay, Lara. Who says Lara can beat Canelo? I hope not. Lara? Which Lara? Arizandi Lara? David Fulton says, I think Tank would just try for the wild uppercut and etc. I agree. Taylor could jab, but also for a southpaw, Taylor also has a powerful right hook. Yeah, he does. I've seen that. I've seen that shot. He got Davis with that, didn't he? O'Hara Davis. He caught him with that shot. Canelo a beast. Okay, what do you think of guys think about William Zepeda? 135 135 pounds. Williams Zapata, the 135 pounder. He's the up and coming guy. The William Zapata is another Mexican, an up and coming guy. You know what? He hasn't had much. He hasn't had much attention, William Zapata. You know, he's 23-0 with 21 knockouts, but you know, we need to see him fight guys. You know what I mean? His record is fairly padded. He needs to fight more guys. You know, it's hard to say, right? Caleb talk. No, I think he's talking about the other one. I think that's Jose Zapata you're talking about, David. That's Jose Zapata. Yeah. Carl says. So Carl says Shields v Marshall. Marshall wins this for me. Guys, everyone in the stream, if you can smash the like button, I'd appreciate it. There's 30 of you in the stream. If you can smash that like button. Where's that? Where oh, my man Ahmed's in the house. Yes. Shields v Marshall. Marshall wins for me. Carl, I gotta disagree with you there, man. Shields is too skilled for me. She's a complete fighter. I believe Shields beats everybody, man. I don't think. Yeah, Marshall can punch. She's big. She's strong. But I think, nah, man. I think Shields is the monster. I mean, Clarissa Shields. Probably, I think she's the greatest female fighter. What do you guys think?
Yeah, she's got all the nutrients, man. She's got all the ingredients.
She's a monster. Shields, she can't punch, don't get me wrong, but she's a brilliant fighter. She's skilled, mate. She's a very, very skilled Olympic gold medalist. What, 2 Olympic gold medals, right? And she's unified. She's undisputed, I think, in 2 divisions. Like, she's beating everyone. That's I would definitely favor Shields in that fight. She's too accomplished, and she's got all the skills as well. You know, she's dominated all the competition. You know, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Marshall beats that Shields, man. Shields is special for me. She's big as well. Marshall's big as well, to be fair, and she can punch, but I don't know if she'll hurt Clarissa. Let's see. That's a good fight, though. I think that's a fight that we want to see, because there's no one really there for Shields to fight. She's dominated everybody. She's achieved so much. A great fighter. Jose Gonzalez says, I want to see Lopez fight again. I want to see that he's not a fluke. Yeah, I want to see. What do you make of Ahmed? What do you make of Teofimo?
Yeah, he's a good fighter. He needs to just add to what he's done. You know, like I said, someone's just said that they want to know whether he's a fluke or not. So he does need to have 1 or 2 more fights to solidify his place as one of the best fighters in the world today.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, man. I agree with you. He's not really lost a bit of momentum after that Lomachenko win. You know what I mean? But Zakamo says, right, but I feel this fight he may surprise us, guns blazing in the first. Who's that? Again, Zakamo. Davis Taylor. So you think Davis Taylor? You think he could surprise us against Taylor? Possibly. Taylor and Lopez at 135, 140. Taylor and Lopez top of 135 and 140. Yeah, they are. They're both. I would say Teo's undisputed, even though legitimately he's not. But I think he is. I think he's undisputed. I think he beat Taylor. Beat Davis. Taylor Davis. Who do you think wins? Who do you think wins, Ahmed?
I got Taylor.
Yeah, I think most people think Taylor, to be honest. Kilo 616 says, in my opinion, Javante is unproven, but also Josh Taylor is a champion. I'm not so in not such a stacked division. My opinion exactly. I think the 140-pound division is not the greatest. What do you think of the 140-pound division, Ahmed?
It's not great, but it's not the worst as well. It's got some decent fighters, and Josh has proved that he can beat the decent fighters in that division. And
Mm-mm.
I don't know why people are comparing Javante to him at the moment, because Javante is just just picking the weakest links at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's picking and choosing, eh? Yeah, he is. Guys, everyone in the stream, if you can smash the like button, the stream's getting bigger. I appreciate it. Smash that like button, guys. My man David, didn't Ramirez beat Zepeda? Yeah, not that Zepeda, not the one that he was, not William Zepeda. So Montana Love, yeah, he knocked out, he knocked out, Baranchik. You know what? I'm laughing because Carl and Ray are having it out on who wins between Jake Paul and Tommy. Yesterday, Ray came on and said that Jake would beat Tommy Fury. Carl said the other day that Tommy Fury would beat Jake Paul. You know what? I was telling Ray this actually, that I went and watched Tommy Fury's fights from first fight to seventh fight. He hasn't improved at all. I went and watched Jake Paul's first fight against a YouTuber to Tyrone Woodley, and Jake Paul's improved massively since they first have a fight. And Ray made a point yesterday that Jake Paul would actually outbox Fury. I agree. After going watching, studying both fighters, I actually think Jake Paul would outbox Fury. I think Fury would have to knock Jake Paul out to win. I think Jake Paul's a better. I think as crazy as it sounds, I think Jake Paul might be a better boxer. Ahmed.
Yeah, possibly. You've got a point there. The improvements have been great from Jake Paul. You know what I mean? And Tommy Fury doesn't seem to have improved much. And
He's just the same wild guy coming forward, right?
definitely, and the it's very very close now, and you could see Jake Paul, having that momentum as well, going for him.
Yes. I'd definitely like to see. I'd like to see it, man. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. Caleb lost my respect when he said Canelo easier than what people think. Yeah, it's not gonna be when he gets inside that ring. I think he's gonna realize it's not as easy as what he thinks. It's not as easy what he thinks. When is Fury fighting Joshua? Oh no, that's Cookie Monster says I always smash the like, bro. Support. Yeah, appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. Okay, so David says, yeah, that's the guy I heard. Zepeda. Smash the like button, says David Fulton. Canelo is never an easy fight. He's never an easy fight. Yeah, I agree. Canelo is never an easy fight. Okay, so Us says, what do you think about Jake Paul? I hate boxing. I'm a woman, but I beat him. I'm a woman, but I want to beat. I want to. Okay, I think you. I want to beat him. Well, I think Jake Paul is what he is. You know what I mean? He's not really. He's improving, but he's got a long way to go. Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury, says Ray. Zakamo says Tiafimo, good but rusting. He needs to stay active. Yeah, I'd agree. He needs to stay active. Jesuis, how are you?
Hey man, doing good. How about yourself, Imran?
Good man, good man. All good man. Nice having you on. Nice having you on.
Yeah, I couldn't get on because like every time you go live, I'm getting prepared to go to work,
Oh yeah,
and right now I'm starting. I think I'm starting a little late today, so
yeah.
yeah, so that's the
Good
reason
having you on, man. Good having
yeah.
you.
But
Good
I
having
have a
you.
little bit of time right now, so it's good talking to you.
Yeah, defo, man, defo. What do you think? What do you think about What do you think about Jake Paul, man? Let's talk a bit about Jake Paul. I haven't got your opinion.
Jake Paul. Oh man, it's just crazy how these YouTubers are literally like Like they're not really, an elite, obviously elite level boxers like Canelo and all those type of fighters. They're not professionals, like you can
Yeah.
say that, right? But man, they taking over, bro. Like there's no hate towards them. They're like, it's just crazy how like Jake Paul literally beat Tyrone Woodley, and Tyrone Woodley is a professional fighter, a UFC fighter, and going in there and beating that guy who has been years obviously training boxing. Obviously he's a UFC fighter, but obviously he has been training boxing for years. And Jake Paul just going in there and beat him like that is just I just couldn't believe it. I thought Tyrone Woodley was going to win, but it's just crazy how how this happened.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree. Yeah, I defo agree with you, man. Defo agree with you. Carl says coffee. So people are. Do you think he beats Tommy Fury? By the way,
Tommy Fury. I'm sorry. Tommy Fury is who's Tommy Fury? By the way, I'm sorry.
Tommy
It's
Fury is Tyson Fury's brother, like younger brother.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen him fight. I don't know if he has. I haven't seen him fight yet lately, but I mean, I don't know too much about him. I know he has a brother, but I don't know if he's a professional fighter. But I mean, as Jack Paul, since I seen him fight and he's more active, I will go for Jack Paul.
Yeah. Jake Paul's talk of the town at the minute. Let me get these questions. Canelo may come out. So Canelo may come out guns blazing this time and hurt Plant. I feel Plant low bone density will break easier than people think against a strong Canelo. BJS is stockier, Plant is lengthier but weaker even. Miguel, what do you think?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on? Are you well?
Hello?
Hello,
Can you?
Miguel. Yeah, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So, did you hear the question? Like, Canelo will look to
No, no.
break.
Go, go ahead. I didn't hear it. Go ahead. Repeat it.
Yeah, Canelo may come out guns blazing this time and hurt Plant. I feel Plant low bone density will break easier than people think. Um, Against a strong Canelo, BGS is stockier. Plant is lengthy but weaker. Even. What do you think?
I just heard about the Plant saying that he can beat Canelo twice. Is that
Hmm.
is that is that correct?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Is that yeah? That's. I think this guy lives in La La Land, dude. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's not real. He's not being realistic about it, honestly. And
Hmm.
let's talk facts. Canelo is a very hard puncher, and
Hmm.
also he knows how to skip punches.
Hmm.
He knows how to counter punch. Okay,
Hmm.
and also he's a fast boxer too. Even I understand that a lot of people say that Plant is faster,
Hmm.
but still, okay, and he can hit you.
Hmm.
And I think Canelo's a lot smarter than Plant. All right,
Hmm.
and for him to say those kind of things to Canelo,
Hmm.
don't talk crap, outside the ring. Do it
Hmm.
inside the ring. Because
Hmm.
when you confront Canelo in the ring, it's a different story. Bottom
Hmm.
line, okay?
Hmm.
And Canelo will do you bad. I mean, it will hurt you bad. Bottom
Hmm.
line. And 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 one thing about Canelo, he does his talking in the ring. He doesn't like to talk bad about anybody.
Hmm.
Have you ever heard him talk about anybody
No.
before he fights? Exactly.
Nope.
He's a very humble man.
Hmm.
Young man, honestly. He has his head straight. He knows what he wants in life.
Hmm. Hmm.
He wants to unify that championship. Okay, there's
Hmm.
no doubt about it. And when he accomplishes that, he's gonna go to the one get those 4 belts. Okay, that's what he
Hmm.
wants. And
Hmm.
I believe he's so determined that he's gonna go in too. Okay, but Plant, you should keep his mouth shut and do his talk in the ring. Don't talk a lot of nonsense. Canelo, you know, he's gonna say, "This is what you said. Okay, let's do it. Let's see what you got." You know, and like I said, you know, I go for Canelo 100%, to be honest with you, because I've seen that kid fight. You know, since his first fight was in Telemundo. You know, that was quite a, you know, was it 10, 12 years ago? You know, he's you know, nobody liked him then, you know, but he has improved a lot, way a lot. I mean, he knows his boxing. Okay. And we'll see what we'll see November 6th. See what Plant has.
Yeah, we will
You know?
indeed. We will indeed. What do you think, Ash?
Is he there?
Ash, you there? So I think he's not. I think he's not there. But yeah, Miguel, coming back to yourself, Ray is saying that some people say that Canelo's got slow feet. That's a weakness. What do you think?
He doesn't have. I don't see no weakness, to be honest with you. His flat feet, where? You know, he likes to stand in the middle of the ring, and he knows how to cut the ring. Okay, and what he does, he has a lot of body movement and a lot of head movement. I get in the fight with I forgot his name. Oh my god, the black fighter, the last one.
Saunders, Jacobs.
No,
Saunders.
Jacobs. Yeah, you
Saunders.
see the Jacobs fight? No, Jacobs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Jacobs.
How many times did Jacobs miss, even though Canelo was standing in the middle of the ring?
Yeah.
With his head movement.
Yeah. He made him miss a lot.
He missed a lot, right? You know, Chavez was the same at Chavez when Julio Cesar Chavez was fighting. He had the same movement too.
Yeah, I can hear you, man. I can hear you now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go on, Miguel.
And you know, and for Plant, he's going to miss a lot because Canelo's going to stand his ground and it's going to move a lot of head movement, a lot of body movement, and he's just going to miss. But Canelo will counterpunch to that body because he leaves his wide open to that body for Canelo to hit.
I'd agree. You know? And it's big target as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, he's tall. Yeah, he's tall. But you know, you know, tall fighters, you know, will crouch.
Yes.
To get to the same height as Canelo. And when you look at it, a lot of people will say, yeah, he will use his jab, his reach, but still he's going to crouch. Okay? He's still going to do that in order to try to hit Canelo. Because if he, you know, he's not going to throw punches above Canelo's head.
No.
See what I'm saying? And he has to crouch, you know, and Canelo is going to counter with the body punches.
Yeah.
And it's gonna hurt him.
I think the body punches are the dangerous ones. The body punches. Ash,
yes.
What do you think about what do you think
about the Canelo and Plant fight?
Yeah, Plant saying that, you know, he's gonna beat Canelo twice, and you know, if Canelo wants a rematch.
Talking rubbish, ain't he?
Yeah.
He's trying to build a fight, trying to drum up some interest, so people think that he's got a chance of winning. But I don't see him beating Canelo. I don't think you see him beating Canelo, do you?
No.
So all he's doing is basically trying to basically drum up interest, so people think, you know, he's a live dog in there. But I just think Canelo, like I said before, these guys can't challenge him. He's too good for them.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he beats all these guys. There's not one guy. The only guy we thought would challenge him was Golovkin, and he's beat him as well. So, you know, there's not many guys that can challenge him unless he goes up and up and up. And you know what I mean? Like you said, I just think, yeah, like you were saying, Canelo doesn't really talk trash about his other fighters because he doesn't really need to.
Yeah, he's a money guy, innit? You don't need to.
Yeah, he's got the whole of Mexico and all that behind him, so he doesn't really need to talk trash. But he did a bit of trash talking to Andre, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Andrade.
did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
But he's saying he's a crap fighter or not.
Yeah, he's a boring fighter.
Yeah. Yeah. So what were you asking me basically? What Plant said then?
So Plant basically said, you know, Plant basically saying, you know, that
I'm gonna beat him.
Caleb Plant says he will beat Canelo twice, and then if Canelo wants the rematch, that's what he basically said. You know, so basically suggesting that when he beats Canelo, he's gonna beat him so bad that Canelo's not gonna want the rematch.
I think
like I was telling you, he lives in La La Land. You know, he's not seeing reality, to be honest with you. I think you know what he's talking about it. I think he knows better him, you know, and he's a little more like scared, to be honest with you. Start talking all that trash so he can build that confidence, but it's still the same token. He's worried.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Canelo doesn't play around.
I want to bring up something out as well.
Just go on, Just
Yeah, I feel like Kellen Plant. He's very how do you say that? He's a very good fighter, but he's very, how do you say it? He's very chinny. Like when I saw his fight against the former world champion, what's his name? Jose something. The one who he beat.
Caleb
no, the other one, the one who he beat, so he can become champion.
Utsakatsi.
Yeah, him. When he fought him, yeah, I think it was him. It's very hard to pronounce his name, but when I saw the fight, Kelly Plant, you know, he's very he can get hurt. You know, he's not too like he's not built up as strong as a Canelo. You know, so I believe that's a big advantage for Canelo that he can, you know, hurt Plant. I think it's gonna be a little similar with the Billy Joe Saunders fight. Canelo just gonna start breaking him down. I would say Caleb Plant is gonna win some rounds
early on.
Yeah, but Canelo, early on I would say, but Canelo just gonna start going to the body. You know, it's just Caleb Plant is just gonna feel his power. Canelo's just too strong for him. I know he's short. Canelo's short, but he's strong. You know, he's very strong. You know, it doesn't matter really the height. I mean, I feel like Canelo's just stronger than Caleb Plant. You know, and he's a better boxer in my opinion as well. I mean, I know a lot of people criticize Canelo that he doesn't have fast feet, and all this and that. I mean, Canelo can box, man. Canelo been when he fought Austin Trout, I remember that fight. He was like 22. Canelo be having that defensive skill since he was like very young. He didn't learn that when he lost against Floyd. I mean, Canelo been fighting like that since he was very young, you know. So he is talented, you know, and that's why he's the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. I mean, ESPN has him as number one, and Ring Magazine has him as number one. So he's a number one for a reason.
Do you think obviously Plant, he's talking a big game right now, right? He's talking a big game right now, but you think you honestly think, looking at him stylistically, any chance whatsoever?
Oh man, I will say you always have a chance. I mean, any boxer, I mean, in any fight, you always have a chance.
You say that though. Like, I don't like puncher's chance, but you can't even say puncher's chance because he ain't gonna stop Canelo, in my opinion, right?
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because you know, and you've been saying this, Imran, and I agree with you that the fighters that will cause Canelo a problem right now is fighters who are strong as him.
Yeah.
You know,
Beterbiev.
yeah, like him, Bertubiev. Man, I'm a huge Canelo fan, man. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a huge Canelo fan, and I feel nervous when if he fights like a Bieber or or Bertubiev, he
Yeah.
can maybe lose those fights. Those
Yeah.
guys are those guys are strong, man, and they
Very
can,
strong.
and then Bebo can also box as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
and those are the fights that I feel that Canelo will have more difficult. You know, it's gonna be more of a difficult fight for him. But those fighters who will move around and just jab and don't have
Yeah.
power, those not gonna have no. Canelo's not gonna have no issues with those fighters.
I think the guys that give Canelo trouble are the ones that are going to be able to push Canelo on the back foot, make it uncomfortable, strong, physically strong guys that are going to be able to make him work 3 minutes of the round. I think guys
Yes.
that grab, the guys that look to just box and move, slick fighters. I think Canelo's worked out. He's fought enough of those type of fighters. He's worked out a way on how to beat those guys. I think you have to be able to make Canelo worry about your power, be able to push him back, be able to make him feel worried that, listen, I'm in here. Canelo feel mentally drained, so Canelo drains mentally and physically. And Beterbiev could do that, because Beterbiev is very, very strong, and he's bigger than Canelo,
Yeah.
way bigger than Canelo, which makes a big
Yeah.
difference.
Yes. And Triple G proved that fight as well. Triple G, we all
Yes,
saw the first Triple
yes,
G fight. I mean, I
yeah,
obviously, I'm gonna be honest. I think Canelo did lost that fight against Triple G, the
yeah,
first
yeah.
fight, but then the second fight, the second fight, man, I was so like when I saw the fight, I was so surprised and the fact that I thought Canelo was gonna still be moving around and play that game, hit and don't get hit. But no, man, this guy literally went in front of him and he went forward and he pushed Triple G back. How can you push Triple G back, bro? That guy is the boogeyman. Nobody pushes Triple G back like that. I was so surprised. Like, I'm like, what the heck? Like, I'm really, really seeing this fight. Just can't believe it. And the Canelo, man, Canelo's just a freaking beast. Like, I couldn't believe like he literally pushed Triple G back, but he did it in a smart way. Canelo
Mm-hmm.
just didn't go forward like he did against Sounders.
Yeah.
I mean like Sounders and those type of fighters that don't have a power. But against Triple G, he was going forward, but smart, But his Triple G can freaking punch. But that really surprised me a lot. Like Canelo literally pushed Triple G back like that, man. I was like, that's why he won the fight for me, in my opinion. Because if you see the punch stats, I believe they were about the same. Like they were the kind of like equal. But the thing that made me think that Canelo won the fight is the fact that he pushed Triple G back like that. I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah, that showed Canelo. Canelo's got he's a complete fighter. Good defense, good power, good head movement. Just good all
Yeah.
round fighter, good all round fighter. He's a complete fighter, and I think that's what I think he's probably one of the most complete fighters in boxing today. If I'm honest with you. Zakamo says Bivol is strong and clever, good angles. Beterbiev mechanics are wrong for Canelo. Too slow and was it vacant fight on the back foot, low defense and chin. Bivol is strong and clever, good angles. Beterbiev mechanics are wrong for Canelo. So basically, Zakamo saying Beterbiev might be a dangerous fight for Canelo. So he kind of agree. Miguel, who else is in the chat?
Yes, sir.
Miguel Makai's in the house as well. How are you, Makai?
Yeah, I feel better. How are you, man?
Good, man. Good. Nice having you in here, man. I ain't heard your voice in a while, man.
Yeah, I had COVID.
Oh, is it?
I got it last Thursday.
Oh, I
Yeah,
hope you're better,
I
man.
tested. I'm feeling good now. Well, I'm feeling all right now. I tested myself today. I ain't got it now, but I'm still got the effects of it still and everything. I tried going for a run. Well, I had to stop like a quarter way in. It was really bad. I had to walk home. Yeah.
Oh, so I hope you're better, man.
Yeah, I feel a lot more better. A lot more. Yeah, cheers.
Good hearing that, man. Good hearing that. So Caleb Plant says he will beat Canelo twice, and and if Canelo wants to rematch, of course. That's what Caleb said. What do you think?
I like the confidence.
A lot of confidence.
Yeah, he's got a lot of confidence, but I don't think Canelo's going to need a rematch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's gonna need it. But I think we might be sleeping on Plant a little.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. But from what I've seen,
Hmm.
I have to pick Canelo.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen, did you hear what Makai just said there? We might be sleeping on
Good.
Plant.
Cracking, man.
All good, man. How are you? How are you, man?
Makai said that we may be sleeping on Plant.
Yeah. And you've been saying these things. You said that
I'm
about
doing good.
Ugas. You said that about Ugas. You said we're sleeping on Ugas. And look what happened.
Yeah. And you might be sleeping on Plant too.
Are we sleeping on Plant? Is it going to be another colossal upset?
It could be. It could very well be. Because, see, here's the thing, man. I know everybody makes that comparison with BJ Saunders and between BJ Saunders and Caleb Plant. But Plant is really a better boxer, like sound wise, like skill wise, he's better than BJ, and he's bigger. So there's a potential. I'm not saying that he's gonna beat Canelo. I'm just saying that there's an extreme potential that he could overthrow Canelo. He could outwork. He could be the post.
Steven's having some difficulties, man. He's having some difficulties. He's having some difficulty. What do you think, Miguel? Are we sleeping on Plant? Are we overlooking Plant?
No, honestly, no. I'm in my opinion, because Plant hasn't shown anything. To be honest, he didn't even show nothing against Ustagi. Ustagi, right? He was you know. But the thing is, you know, he didn't show much in that fight. He was already tired in the middle rounds. After the middle rounds, he was tired, and he was getting hit. Okay. And I don't think we're sleeping with Caleb Plant at all, to be honest with you. I don't see how. You know, I mean, Canelo is just too strong of a fight and too smart for that, to fall into those, into that, you know, into that trap. Okay. He's not going to do that. Canelo's going to do his thing, the best, you know, the best he knows how, and he's going to beat Plant. I'm pretty sure Plant is probably gonna, you know, I mean, Canelo is gonna start him in the first two, in the first two rounds, and then from that point on, Canelo is just gonna do his game. He's gonna do his boxing, and he's gonna do his hitting after that. Because and then what Plant is gonna do, you know, as soon as he starts getting hit with those bombs, and then also he's gonna worry about Canelo his head moving, his, you know, the way he moves, and it's gonna start missing. That's the way I look at it, you know. But I don't think we're slipping on Plant, honestly. You know, everybody says he's a good boxer. You cannot compare with Billy Saunders. It doesn't matter. Compare him on that.
You are
you know.
sleeping on Plant.
No, I don't think. You know, I know what you're saying, my man. But I don't think we're slipping on Plant. To be honest with you, I don't see how.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that you are. I'm saying it wouldn't be. What I'm saying is that it wouldn't be wise. It wouldn't be wise. It's not a foregone conclusion that Canelo's gonna dog walk him and just walk through Caleb, because that dude can box. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he can box. He can box, but can he take the Canelo punches out? So, you know, I mean, if Canelo's going to go after him, you know, if Canelo's going to go after him when he start feeling no punch, let's see, you know, because Caleb hasn't had no punching power. So how are you going to stop Canelo going forward? And he knows how to cut the ring.
No, listen, man.
You know, but Canelo. Oh, go ahead, my man. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say real quick that you don't. Every boxing match is not won with power. A lot of boxing matches are won by way of superb, skillful boxing points. A lot of boxers win on points. I think we've been spoiled to a certain extent, especially when it comes to the likes of those hitters like Canelo. Canelo's a killer, and he's a hitter. He can punch. He can hit you. When he hits you, he cleans clocks. But whenever Canelo faces a boxer or somebody who is equal to him in power, that's when he has issues. Again, I'm not saying that Canelo is gonna lose fight, but I'm saying, and I'm not saying that everybody's sleeping on Caleb Plant, but to say that Caleb Plant has no shot in it, that's where the travesty is. That's where the crime occurs.
No, I understand your point. I understand your point. But still, Canelo can cut the ring off. And where's he going to go? Even though it's a boxer. See what I'm saying? And Canelo knows how to box.
Yeah, Canelo knows how to box.
Knows how to throw jabs. He knows how to box. He's a very intelligent fighter, believe it or not. He knows how to do these things in the ring. He can box with anybody.
Yeah, he can, man.
And Canelo, I mean, that guy is, I mean, excellent cutting the ring off. Then what's Plant gonna do at that time?
He's got better though, has he, Miguel?
In the ring.
Canelo's got better at cutting off the ring. He's got better. He never used to good back in the day.
That's true. He got way better, way too much better. I mean,
remember when he fought Lara? Remember when he fought Lara? He was following Lara around the ring. Whereas now, if you look at Canelo, he's become more educated with his foot movement.
Exactly. You're right. You're right about that. You know, I don't. That was what is it, 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. You know, he like Canelo always says, I'm always learning. I'm always learning. And there he is. He's always learning.
And that's one of the
he's getting better.
And that's one of the things I love about. And that's one of the things I love about Canelo is that he is always getting better. You know, Canelo's one of those fighters. You don't see too much stagnation. You don't see him stagnant. You see him evolving, and you see him really trying to learn and understand the game of boxing and trying to be the best boxer on the planet. That's what you see when you see Canelo.
Exactly.
But that's what you see when you see him. I just like. I just like the matchup. I think it's a good matchup. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. And we'll just have to see, man. We'll just have to see if Caleb has what it takes.
Yeah. Much respect to you. I respect your opinion. You got your points. And Canelo. I mean, Canelo. He's not rusty in the ring. How many fights he fights a year? 3, 4 times a year?
Yeah.
Right? He's always fighting. And look at the other fighters. They fight him once a year. Some other fighters fight, they go by 2 years and they start fighting again. I mean, and Canelo is constantly fighting it. So that's why you don't see no rust on him when he goes into the ring.
Yeah.
And that's the good thing about Canelo. I mean, what other fighter in the last 50 years has done that?
Yeah.
The way he trains. I mean, the way he trains is just amazing.
Especially when he's a power fighter as well.
Yes, and that guy has such a stamina. It's hard to get for him to get tired. I mean, he has to fight a very tough fighter, a very strong fighter too. But for him
they
to
have
get
a good
tired,
camp, man. Eddie Reynoso. I mean, he's one of the best trainers in the game, man. So they got the golden ticket. I think they got the golden ticket. And it's gonna be up to somebody who's gonna be fearless and somebody who's really gonna take the challenge in order to beat him. Because if Caleb Plant come in there, if he come there half stepping and come there not wanting to fight and just being timid and not letting his hands go, he's gonna get knocked out.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He's gonna get knocked out. So, hey, listen, I'm right with you. I'm just saying that people should not. We don't know what Caleb Plant's mindset is right now. You know?
Yeah. But right now his excuse me. But right now his mindset is to talk a lot of shit. That's what he's doing.
That's what all boxers do.
You know, I mean, don't talk a lot of crap, man. You know, that's what are you gonna gain on that? I mean, when you get in the ring and you don't prove what you say, you know what you've been saying, it's gonna make you look like a damn fool.
Yeah, man.
He probably, what he's probably.
Go on, Mackay. Go on, Mackay.
Oh yeah. No, what I was trying to say is that Plant is probably trying to get into Canelo's head, but I mean, it's not going to work. I mean, we had Billy Joe Saunders, who was probably one of the best talkers in boxing, and very good again on people's skin, and it didn't work. And I mean, Canelo, his brother, like, involved in this cartel thingy. Yeah, he got and Canelo was in negotiations with them on fight week when he fought Rocky Fielding, and he still didn't distract him or anything from his fight. So I think a Plant trying to get into his head at all.
No. Canelo's he's a very placid character. Like, he's very calm. He's very, he doesn't get emotional. You know, you see people that get emotional, right? And get very emotional.
Correct.
Generally, they make mistakes in life. Genuinely, in the boxing ring, or they make mistakes outside. They make mistakes outside in normal life. And Canelo's not emotional. He's very calm. He's very calculated. You know, he's a very calculated fighter. Do you know what I mean? A very calculated person and very smart. So I don't really see him, getting affected by any kind of trash talking. I just think it motivates him. And, it will just make him even more painful.
True, and he's very humble too. He's very humble.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's very.
And that's one good thing about him.
Said, very self-assured. Very self-assured. Yeah. He's a great champion, man. He's a great champion. He's a great guy. He's a great champion, man. He's a great guy to be the face of boxing right now.
Yeah, he's a very great person. He knows his responsibilities. He's family and how do he handle himself in public life. You know, when he's out there, he knows how to handle himself. He knows what's up there. And he helps a lot of people, believe it or not, in Mexico. He does help a lot of people.
David says most boxers do that, though. It's mind games. Not everyone gets in the boxer's head. For example, Taylor is mind player, but if he'd done that to Crawford, it could backfire. Yeah, Crawford. I said this as well in the past. That Crawford, he's very spiteful. You know, he's also a guy. If you trash talk to Crawford, right, he wants to beat you up. You know what I mean? And Canelo's the kind of same, but Crawford makes it known that he wants to beat you up, whereas Canelo's more calm. Canelo will just go in the ring and bash you up. You know, Canelo's calm, very calculated. And I think with Plant, I think he'll break Plant down slowly but surely. I don't think he'll knock Plant out with a one big punch. I think he'll break him down.
That's how I see it happening.
Body shot. Yeah. What do you think?
It will be a combination.
Yeah, to
knock him down. Yeah.
Go on, Mackay.
I mean, I just Plant. He's gonna use these things. He's gonna look alright. Got the conditioning to allow off his feet at all times. We saw him gas out after round 6 against Jose Ascudetejui, his name is. So I mean, I can't see boxing him for 12 rounds really. I see Canelo breaking him down. That's going to slow Plant down a lot, and then I think Canelo could potentially stop him late, but I kind of see it going to 12 rounds. Because I mean, Canelo's powerful and all, but he didn't really stop fighters there. I mean, yeah, fair enough, he stopped Saunders, but he didn't
knock him out.
He obviously was like the corner says he broke his face. I don't think Canelo's gonna knock Plant out or anything. If he does, that will be a really good win for his last fight for Undisputed. Let's just say to end it.
My man Mike's in the house. Mike's in the house. How are you, Mike?
Pretty good, man. How's everyone doing?
Good, man. Good. It's always good hearing from you, Mike, man. It's always good hearing from you. Mike, you've heard what people are saying about Canelo and Plant. Plant saying, I will beat Canelo twice and give him the rematch if he wants it. Your thoughts?
I mean, I think Plant is doing what most boxers do, man. You know, they're trying to show confidence, maybe in a way trying to sell the fight a little bit too. I think that's what people like. So I don't see what the big deal is, you know. But as far as like whether he believes it or not, I don't know. He probably does. I mean, a fighter has to have confidence in himself, you know. If you want to beat Canelo Alvarez, you have to really believe it. You can't go in there thinking that you're going to lose. So whether he believes it or not, I don't know. I think we're gonna find out once they're in the ring, because I think that's when things change. You know, once you get inside the ring and then you start feeling the punches and you start missing punches or missing shots, then it's when you start kind of getting insecure and not knowing what to do. And I think that's probably going to be the difference in the fight. You know, I mean, we could talk about skills, we could talk about power, but I think Canelo's experience is really going to take over in the fight.
Yeah, man. Mike, you know what? I have to agree with you. The experience, I don't think people talk about it enough. The experience is very, very important. And Canelo has that in abundance, and Plant doesn't have a lot of it, Mike. You know, what have you made of Plant's career so far, Mike? What have you made of it? Have you been impressed? Are you not that impressed? Do you think he's actually... Are we sleeping on Plant?
No, I think the predictions are pretty accurate, man. You know, I mean, in boxing, you never know what could happen, but he's got some advantages because he's a big super middleweight. So not a lot of people have these advantages all the time. So that's a plus no matter what, right? Because I mean, imagine if you don't have those advantages, and what is Canelo going to do, right? He's going to destroy you. So if you'll take any advantage, whether it's height, reach, weight, you know, against Canelo, right? But overall, I just think that he's a good example of fighters that we're seeing in today's age, where like you see them at I don't want to say advanced stage, but like they're in their prime, but the resume doesn't really reflect that. You know, a lot of fighters back in the day, you know, by 28, 29, 30, 31, you know, they were in their prime. A lot of these guys were already Hall of Famers. We're seeing guys that are in their 30s, and we're asking them to still prove to us how good they are, you know? And I feel like he's kind of one of those fighters. I know he's 27, 28, around there. So
who, Canelo?
Physically, no, Plant. Yeah. So Caleb's like, you know, he's dead in his prime in terms of, you know, his physical and physical strength, and all that, but he just doesn't have the experience, man. I mean, I give him credit because he's a champion, so you got to give him credit. But there's champions, and then there's champions. You know, like Canelo Alvarez is a different type of champion. You know, multiple division champion. He's got a lot of experience, faced a lot of other great champions, Hall of Famers, been in there with some of the greatest fighters of all time. So that's probably going to be the biggest difference in the fight, in my opinion. And I think he's once he gets in the ring, and you know, he's probably going to be concerned about the power and of course the body work that Canelo brings. But I think he's probably going to be surprised too when he starts punching. He's going to start missing as well. I think a lot of people underestimate Canelo's slickness as well. You know, so it's the same thing that happened in the Jacobs fight. So once he kind of starts displaying his entire repertoire, his whole arsenal, I think that's when Caleb Plant is going to say like, oh shit, what the hell, what am I supposed to do now? You know, and I see Canelo probably winning a clear decision, or depending on how aggressive he is, or if he lands some big punches here and there, like versus Billy Joe Saunders, then we might see a stoppage late. That's what I think.
You think Caleb? See, I said that I think you need to have power to beat Canelo, in the sense that I think Canelo has now fought so many of these slick fighters with not much power.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's worried about fighting that sort of style anymore. I think you need to be able to put Canelo under physical and mental pressure and make him work 3 minutes of the round, and to tire him and exhaust him and put him on the back for something like Golovkin did, something like Beterbiev possibly could do. Do you think that's the kind of style that beats Canelo? What style do you think would beat Canelo?
I think that's a great question. I'm more the type of guy that I don't necessarily look at styles, because if we go based on Canelo's history, you can argue, right, that both styles gave him trouble.
Yes.
So you could go back to Lara, you could go back to Floyd. Maybe. Obviously, he was way younger, and then you could use not Canelo, Triple G as an example, right, as well, right? I feel that it's the quality of the fighter and what style he masters, right? So you could be a slick fighter, or you could be a fighter who throws a lot of punches, or a pressure fighter, but if you don't have the talent or the level of greatness of a Triple G, it doesn't matter what style you have, right? So I believe, just to use some of the examples that people were bringing up, I believe Bivol and Beterbiev would be who have two different styles. Both of them would have very good chances of beating Canelo Alvarez, even though they have different styles, because Bivol's he's a boxer, but he's not, he has a good punch. He might not have a Beterbiev type punch, but he can punch. He's the type of dude that Canelo can't let him hit him all the time, because he's gonna start doing some damage, right? So he has enough power to, I think, for Canelo to respect him. But at the same time, he's a very active boxer. The majority of fights that I've seen with Bivol, he's out there throwing 700 plus punches, And Canelo Alvarez, when you look at his output, Canelo Alvarez is always around 400, maybe 500 here and there, right? So Canelo relies a lot on being efficient and being conservative and landing big, clean power shots, right? And that's how he wins the rounds, right? The flashy shots, and then making you miss. But a guy like Bivol, if he's able to implement the perfect game plan and execute that game plan to the T, and being active, and he might be able to outwork a guy like Canelo Alvarez with his athleticism, with his power, with his angles. He might be able to do that. And Beterbiev, you already brought it up many times, Beterbiev would do it with power, exhausting Canelo, pushing him back, making him get tired, expending a lot of energy and stuff like that. So it's two different approaches. So it's not really about the style, is more so the quality of the fighter, and then what style he might have that can create problems for Canelo Alvarez. So in this case, Caleb Plant, for example, you could say he has a similar style maybe to Bivol in terms of being a boxer, but he doesn't punch like Bivol. And in my opinion, he might not even, he might be as big as Bivol, but I think Bivol might have a little bit more experience based on his background, and I think Bivol's been there with bigger guys than Caleb Plant. And I would have to say Bivol's probably a better boxer. If I go based on the eye test, I would say I would give Bivol the edge in terms of his boxing ability as well. So I don't know, man. I mean, I don't see Caleb Plant winning that fight against Canelo.
I'm gonna come to who hasn't had a thing. Who hasn't had a Ash? You haven't spoke for a while. Ash.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about Charlo and Andrade, right? Charlo and Andrade, man, they're two champions, but they're not fighting each other. And I'll get Mike's opinion on this as well, and Makai and Miguel, because none of you have spoke about this. Charlo and Andrade aren't fighting each other, man. There's two undefeated American world champions, right? They're in the middleweight division, and that fight for some reason has been not happened for years. This isn't good for the sport of boxing, Ash, that you get fights like that we'll all be interested in not happening. What do you think needs to happen, man? Do you think the organizations need to make Andre Charlo's mandatory? How do we get that fight, man?
The thing is, it's all about money, isn't it? They know if they fight each other, then they won't get the Canelo fight if either one. So, you know, they don't want to lose the as you want to say like that. So that's the reason why they're not fighting each other, because at the end of the day, I don't think any fighters are scared of any other fighters. You know, because it takes, you know, a lot of bollocks to get in the ring, you know what I mean? So, so I don't think they're scared of each other. I think it's just because the money, they don't want to lose that big payday, because $10 million, $15 million fighting Canelo. If you lose to another guy, then you're back down the pecking order. Then you gotta build up again, and you gotta build it up again, get a belt again, and, you know, come relevant again.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main reason, really, because other than that, and it could be because of PBC and DAZN, and they're on different networks and stuff. But in my opinion, mainly I think it's because they don't want to lose a big payday. Because if you look at it, Andrade has never really had a big payday, and Charlo, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I don't think he's had a massive payday either.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's about the money, really. If they don't want to lose that payday, that fight.
Fair enough. Makai, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I just announced, to be honest, I don't even bother with them, you know, because they're the reason why boxing is where it's at. You know, they say that they're void, but they don't actually try and fight anyone. So they just use that excuse, and their fans, their fanboys go along with it, like keep on saying it, persuades them even more. Like the fans don't help at all as well, like their fanboys that they have, you know, they're just cherry picking, waiting for a payday, and then they'll probably flip and retire. That's what they do. You know what I mean? How old is he now? Like 34?
33.
33, yeah, 33. Hasn't even got a notable win yet.
No.
Like, and he's had chances. Andre's had chances, but he doesn't want to do anything. He just wants to for Canelo to pay it, and then he'll retire. Charlo, you know what Charlo's doing. Like, I mean, the guy's already turned down for the division that can beat him. Like, and people, they still support them. They still support them. Why are they supporting them? Like, they're what's bad for boxing. They're just sitting around cherry picking. At least you got someone like Canelo, who is literally becoming, right, assuming he beats Plant, that means he would become undisputed in just 11 months, I believe. 11 months. That's
it's crazy.
That's greatness right there. Why can't every other boxer do that? I mean, I'm not just saying Canelo only does it, but I mean, David Benavidez, you know, by someone like him, he wants the fights. You can tell by some people that when they actually want the fight, and then when they die, you got Charlo Andrade, you got Canelo making the big fights, fighting them, and then you got Andrade and Charlo talking about them. I mean, Andrade's like an ex-girlfriend or something, just like constantly follows you, does what you do. Like, I mean, look what he's doing with Canelo. He actually goes to every one of these events. Right, as Canelo's fights are boring and all that. Oh, I almost fell asleep watching it, but you're going to the event and then having every interview talking about him. Like, Andrade, he's just a dick.
Mike, what's your opinion about Charlo and Andrade, and the fact that it's damaging for the sport when, you know, you get two guys like that not willing to fight each other? You know, Charlo's trainer coming out and saying that Andrade ain't gonna get the fight. Who do you think's at fault here? Who do you think's at fault? Is it the promoters? Is it the fighter? Is it a certain fighter that's ducking? What do you think, Mike?
I think it's in that particular matchup. I think it's both. They're both at fault. I think Andre and Charlo, they're both at fault because What's that noise? Is that me or?
No, that's not you.
Sounds like
Who's
an
that guy?
airplane, man. Are we in an airplane or what?
I don't know, man. I don't know who that is.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Who is that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Is it you, Miguel? Is that you? Is someone got like a radio on in the back?
I'm in my car. I'm in my car, so I put the AC on. Sorry. You there?
No, but
okay.
Yeah, I think it's both of their fault, man. I think Makai nailed it, man. You know, and I mean, it's just these guys. They just don't. They're content with their careers. They're not trying to go beyond that. You know, they're not trying to do, like you bring it up all the time. Like Canelo Alvarez is always talking about the next challenge or making history. When you don't have that mind state, then you're good where you're at. You're just looking for the best opportunities to cash in, and that's all it is. I mean, Andre, I don't even know how people fall for this shit, man. Honestly, I mean, Andre's been a professional since 2008, man. Since 2008.
Yeah.
And
that's so long.
When you look at his career, man, there was a bunch of years where he was fighting once a year. Like, you have to stay active, dog. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're fighting bums, fight 3 bums a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that you could get yourself out there, so that you have a reason to say, like a real reason to say, hey, you know what? I want this fight. I want that fight. Like, look for these fights. But they're like divas. They're acting like divas when they don't even have the, you know, I don't know, man. They don't have the pull to even act in that manner. Like, it's almost like they're entitled. You know, they feel like, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that. Charlo even said himself in some of the recent interviews, he said the same thing Canelo said. But I don't know if he's using Canelo as like a way to like piggyback on Canelo and say, like, all right, you know, if Canelo's saying that, I could say it. But even Charlo was like, oh, he's a terrible fighter. He's an awful fighter. So even he believes that about Andre, right? So he's telling me with that he's not gonna fight Andre, or at least he doesn't want to fight Andre. So and then the whole situation with Triple G in a way makes it worse. The only reason I give Triple G a pass is because I just feel like Triple G has nothing to prove. He's proven himself his whole career, you know, chasing guys and the amount of fighters that ducked him. But even Triple G, you know, we could put, you know, you could blame him a little bit, because I think he's basically saying, you know what, fuck everyone. You know, I'm going to do my thing. I already did what I had to do. You know, you guys didn't want to fight me when I wanted to fight you guys. So I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to look for the big paychecks as well. But they're all doing it. They're all doing it. And in that weight class, they all pretty much have the same, you know, mentality. And I don't know, unless someone forces them to fight. I'm not sure they're going to fight. They're going to fight each other.
James Deere says, fight bums. You people are already saying that they haven't fought anyone. Now that you think they should fight more ones. I don't know what
he never said that. I mean, yeah. He just been James Deere. He's always been like that.
Yeah, James Deere doesn't. He rarely makes sense.
Yeah, he makes no sense when he talks. Mike never said that. He's talking what Mike said about Andre, about the inactivity, about Andre about being inactive, and then obviously Mike said, like, you're a year, fight 3 times a year, even if they're bums or not. He's just talking about the inactive. So that's what he's trying to say. He's not trying to. He's not trying to convince Andre to fight. Yeah, and I mean, James knew that.
He didn't get the point, man. He didn't get the point.
Yeah. I get what Mike's saying. He said, you literally said they should fight more bums to get their names out there. I get what he's saying. He's basically saying that I kind of agree with James in the sense that I think they need to. I think they need to fight somebody. I think that's what the boxing fans want to see. We want to see them fight. I know what you're saying, Mike. You're basically saying be more active, show your face, get yourself.
Yeah, like, if you can't get the big fights, you have to be active.
Yeah, you have to. You have to.
You can't be inactive. You understand what I mean? You can't just sit in line You know what I'm saying? You can't just wait in line and then say, "Oh, I'm gonna wait here until Canelo's available." If he's available, like you have to stay active. That's what boxers used to do. That's what boxers used to do. This whole idea of fighting bums. You know, we have to be able to differentiate. Like James is taking my quotes and he's taking them like to a different context. You know, Sugar Ray Robinson fought a lot of bums too. Right. But he fought a lot of champions. In other words, they fought everybody. They fought everyone, whoever wanted it, champions, bums, it didn't matter. They stayed active. So that's my point. If you can't get the big fights, you have to at least stay active. If not, these other fighters are going to call you out. I mean, you think Canelo's not stupid, man. I mean, let's be serious. He's not dumb. He knows the fighters that are around the weight class. You know, so he knows the guys that are waiting and sitting, you know. So when Andre popped up, he told Andre the truth, right? He's like, bro, who have you fought though? Who have you fought? Like, if I'm going to give you a chance, I might as well give everyone a chance. Right? And I could only fight one guy at a time. So it's kind of like one of those situations where I don't know, man. I mean, to me, it's not that hard to understand, but for some people, it's just like quantum science, bro. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the problem is with them; they're fighting bums, and they're fighting. They're not fighting. You know what I mean? That's the problem. But it's come to the point where. So, oh yes, Ash, you want to make a point? Go on, Ash. Ash.
Oh, I can't hear Ash.
Ash, you're not talking, man.
Oh, he put in the
Andre did step up to fight
chat.
Billy Joe, but Billy Joe failed a test. Yeah,
right.
So we have to give Andre. He was gonna fight Billy Joe, and then Billy Joe failed a test, so that's no fault of his own, is it, Mike? I'd have to.
No, of course not. But let's say he would have fought Billy Joe Saunders, right? We would. What would we be saying right now? The only guy on his resume is Billy Joe Saunders. So it's like we could give him credit for that, right? But it still doesn't take away from the overall point. Is that Billy Joe Saunders is the same guy that people are criticizing Canelo for fighting. The guy that people are saying, oh, he's not that good. So we're gonna use Billy Joe Saunders to hype up Andre now when they're trying to discredit Canelo for fighting Billy Joe.
Yeah, what I always say in this is right, just to say, what if Charlo fought Billy Joe Saunders? People will be making that Charlo's doing something. It's a good fight. That's a good competitive fight. But then if Canelo fights him, you know, it's a lot. I mean, people need to keep energy on things. You know, that's what's annoying with fans now. Like, they don't do it right. There's like with Andre, actually, you know, people gave Canelo not like that because obviously Canelo he said to Andre, they're a fighter. They gave him shit for it. And there's a interview of Andre saying he doesn't want to fight Lara because he
right,
and no one
Makai, you there?
cares about the fight.
Makai?
Everyone's cutting off.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so Mike, in terms of Charlo and Andre, I think it's just a case where they need to fight each other. And what I don't understand is, and this is what I said the other day, Mike, that they must be getting paid a lot of money to fight these lower level guys for them not wanting to fight. Because I think surely it makes more sense when you know it's a unification fight. It's a bigger fight. It does you know, good for your profile. It makes you a bigger, you know, bigger purse, everything. So I'm thinking to myself, the risk and reward ratio must not be there for them not wanting to fight each other.
Yes, that's what it has to be. That's what it has to be. It has to be that. And that's something we've discussed. I've discussed with a lot of my friends who are boxing fans too. And I think that's what it is, man. These guys are getting paid way too much to fight these average guys. So, like you said, they're weighing that risk reward. They're weighing that, and if it's not a big reward,
can you hear me, man?
They're not going to take that risk. At least they're not going to be desperate to take it.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with you. Gabriel's asking, Andrade v GGG would be good. How would you see that one fight playing out, guys?
Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, can hear you. Can hear you.
Sorry, what did you say? What was the question? What did you ask?
Andrade v Golovkin. How do you see that one playing out?
I think Golovkin beats him.
What, even now?
Yeah, because Andrade, man, he's not really sound in it fundamentally. You see his last fight against that guy. Who did he fight with? Williams. You see how he's fighting, throwing his punches a bit wild.
Yeah.
He wasn't really. So I just think he's fundamentally. I think Triple G would that jab would stroke him with that jab, and I think it would stop him. That's in my opinion.
What do you think, Miguel, Mike?
You know, I go for Triple G. Honestly, I think you know, when against Andrade, you said, right?
Correct? Yeah, Andrade.
Okay. Yeah, I think you know, Triple G will put pressure on Andrade, and I don't think he will be able to handle Triple G on that point. Okay, and also going back about the Andrade Shiloh fight.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think both of them don't want to lose a title. They want to keep their title, and all both organizations are all a bunch of politics. You know, if it wasn't for the politics, they could have fought a long time ago against each other. Am I right? Right now they're making money. They're making right now they're making easy money, but fighting each other, both of them wants to be a champion, no matter what.
So what I'm saying, Miguel,
so
they must be getting paid a lot of money though, because if they're fighting if they're fighting average fighters, they must be making a lot of money.
Well,
otherwise,
they
why
might
would
be
they
making
fight
a lot of money, but you know. But the thing is, they want to be champions, both of them. They don't want to give up their belts. You know, that's the main thing. I mean, if they really want to fight each other, you know, but nobody has called each other out either, right? Has anybody called that shot? They haven't called each other out. That's one of the things. Exactly. So they want to stay where they're at in a pedestal, and they want to fight somebody for I don't know, for you know, getting paid for over $1 million or whatever it is, you know, and that's it. They're satisfied with that. Yeah, they call it not Canelo, but nobody wants to move up to fight Canelo. I mean, they can wait. You know, they're going to wait there for 60 years, and Canelo ain't going to come down to 160 anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, so the bottom line is, you know, it's all politics, and they don't want to lose their belts to each other. They want to be champions with one belt. If they're happy about it, so be it. That's what they say. You know, I'm happy with one belt. What the hell? Where am I going to go fight for another belt when I can get my ass beat or whatever, whichever, you know? So it's all politics when it comes down to it.
I think,
you know, but I wish I can fight, but they won't. We might never see that fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, probably not. Ash, what do you think? You were going to say something.
Yeah, I was going to say basically the problem we got is Canelo's a great fighter.
Yeah.
And there's no other guy around there that wants to be great. So when these guys they're not on his level, you can name all of them. You can fight any of them. You'll beat all of them. You can go and talk about how this and this guy does this and this guy does that. But at the end of the day, none of them guys are great. And none of them trying to be great. When you go back in history books and see the top fights, the two guys trying to be great, this is when you get a great fight. But the guys Canelo's fighting are guys that are not great. They're champions, but they're not great. They're not that top level. When, for example, let's bring up Marquez. Now Marquez is better than all these guys, for example, because he's a multi-weight champion. He went to challenge himself to be great. He went up 2 weights to fight Mayweather, who was a great fighter himself. Do you get what I mean? Where there's no great fighters coming up to fight him. Charlo's not great. Andrade is not great. None of them are great. They've not done nothing in the past 10 years to say they're great. So even if they fight Canelo, it won't be great because Canelo will beat him easy. Because he's a level above any of these guys in this era right now. Unless you can tell me a guy besides Canelo who can go up weights and beat guys and beat the champions. It's only him. There's no other guy. Look, 160. Charlo doesn't want to move up. No other guy is moving anywhere. They're staying in their own divisions because they're not great. You only can be great when you're great. You can move up divisions like Roy Jones, like Manny Pacquiao, like Mayweather. Guys that moved up and they've beat the champions, and this is why they're great. So I just think that the guys that he's fighting now, they're just names on his record.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. Mike, were you gonna say something?
No, I agree with Ash, man. I mean, these guys, they're just not. They don't have the mentality, man.
The passion.
To be great. Yeah, exactly. The passion, whatever you want to, you could add
exactly
whatever term you want. Passion, hunger.
Desire.
Desire to be great, man. They don't have it. They don't. But I think a lot of things are coming into play because of the new generation, man. I part of it is because of what they learned from the prior generation with the whole Floyd blueprint. But I think there's another aspect here that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, or they don't talk about it enough. But you see it in other sports as well. But I think that another part that's playing a role here is the health aspect. I think a lot of these fighters are they're more knowledgeable when it comes to like the damage that boxers are taking. When it comes to CTE, you see what you're seeing in football and the way they're changing rules and they're changing stuff like that. So back in the day, you saw a lot of guys stay active, have more fights. There was a lot of more wear and tear, right? So that's the reason why I also value the amount of fights that fighters have, even if they're not fighting champions all the time. Because if you're mixing champions with other fighters that might not be champions and you're accumulating fight after fight after fight, that tells me, and you're still great after X amount of years, that increases your greatness as well. Because there's a lot of wear and tear in that, right? So a lot of these guys, though, they're not doing that anymore. So they're not willing to take these risks, not just in terms of losing, but they don't want to take any physical damage, right? They don't want to just be out there and risking any type of physical damage, brain damage, or anything that could be that could affect them in the long term. So I think managers, I think promoters are bringing this up to fighters a lot more. I'm pretty sure guys like Al Heyman are bringing this up to his fighters out in PBC and saying like, hey, bro, like chill, man. It's about the money. We know you want to be great, but let's take our time with it. Let's choose the right fights. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then we could pick our spots so that you could become a champion, be great. But at the same time, we want you to get paid and take care of your family, And when they're feeding you this stuff, it's hard to say no, right? Because it makes sense. I mean, if you're a professional boxer, a lot of these things make sense because it is really about making a living at the end of the day. So the onus is more on boxers today to want to challenge themselves, because boxers, I feel like nowadays have a little bit more control, especially if you don't have a promoters. Like PBC is not a promotional company. They're not necessarily, controlled by promoters, or, they could kind of do what they want in a way, right? To a certain extent. Not like Canelo, because obviously Canelo's a cash cow, but a lot of these dudes, they don't really work. Al Heyman is not a promoter. He's a fucking manager. You know what I'm saying? So they make moves. They make their own moves in a lot of ways. They do what they want. and this this gives them more power to kind of like, you know, do whatever the hell they want to do, or take the risk whenever they want to take it, or move the way they want to move. And if it makes sense, they'll do it. If it doesn't make sense, they won't do it. So you have to have, like everyone here is saying, you have to have passion. You have to have a little extra to kind of go out there and say, you know what, fuck that, fuck all this. I want to be the greatest. Yeah. I want to make history. If you don't have that, then you're gonna get this.
Yeah, you know, but the main thing is they're all a bunch of prima donnas. Bottom line, you know, they want to do what they want to do. I want to do what I want to do, and stuff like that. They don't want to go. They don't want to go into their future to be a great fighters like Canelo. That's what Canelo's thinking, his future, and they're leaving a legacy. You know, but like Shiloh and Andrade and all those fighters, I mean, they don't want to go like Canelo does. They're a bunch of prima donnas. Like I said, they're sitting in their, you know, they're sitting right there, nice and pretty, but they don't want to fight the top 10 fighters. It's some competition. No. They don't want to fight the competition. You know, in order to be great.
Outside Canelo, there's only one fighter that's doing that, and that's Errol Spence.
Yeah, Errol Spence is.
He's fighting the best guys in his division.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I would say not fighting Terence Crawford though.
Hey?
Not fighting Terence Crawford though, man. That's a fight that he's.
Crawford's the only one.
Hey?
Yeah, but if you're saying he's not fighting Crawford, if you put Crawford to a side, he's fought everyone else.
Yeah, yeah. But Crawford's probably the other best guy. I mean, Ash.
Yeah, but that fight is going to happen. That fight's going to happen.
Do you reckon?
100%.
I'm not holding my breath.
No, it will happen because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it goes back to desire, doesn't he? And Errol Spence wants that belt, so he's going to make the fight happen. It's all about, you know, like you said, talking about intentions, and we want to be the best at the weight.
But he's saying he's a big fish in all of this, like all of this big fish nonsense.
He is the big fish at welterweight, though, isn't he?
No. But what I'm saying is that big fish, Crawford's not going to have it, though, is he?
Then it's all a loss for Crawford, then, isn't it? Because that's going to be his biggest payday.
Yeah. I don't think Crawford's going to accept being a big fish. Do you know what I mean?
That's back to what was it? Mike was just saying that they all being prima donna. That's when Terence Crawford's been a prima donna, then, isn't he? Because this will be his biggest payday. He's going to be fighting for all the belts. He's going to have all the eyes on him. Then why wouldn't you want to take the fight for just a bit less money?
But Mike also said, I remember he said a couple of months ago, he also said that Terence Crawford isn't that less of a star than Errol Spence. He said that the difference between them in terms of stardom is not that big. Is that right, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. I think I mean we can all agree that Spence is bigger because obviously we could go based on the numbers, but I don't think the like you said, I don't think the difference is that wide to where you know it's not that it's not immense
kind of thing. No way.
Right? No, hell no.
I ask you a question, man. If Bob Arum was promoting Errol Spence, do you think he'd have a problem on pay-per-view the way that Terence Crawford does?
Depending if he hasn't got the fighters. If he haven't got the fighters, then yeah, I think he would.
So there's the answer then, isn't it? He's not a bigger star than Errol Spence.
No, he's not a bigger star. We accept that. What we're saying is that he's not that bigger star.
60-40 is what it is. 60-40.
Yeah, but guys, but you also have to think about his eye surgery too. Can he take a punch on his eye? And then you know, you gotta hope his retina is healed enough for him to keep boxing. Because you know, when you injure your retina, I mean, that's a career-ending thing.
Yeah.
All right. You got to think about that too. I mean, we can speculate that he can fight with Crawford and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but all depends on his eye too.
No, we're talking
really risk his...
The problem is that both guys are claiming that they deserve 60%. So my thing is at one point are these guys going to say, you know what, in order to make this fight happen, we're gonna have to sacrifice. So we're gonna have to meet somewhere in the middle, right? Whether that's a 50-50 split or a 50-45 55-45 split. That's the only way this happens. Are they willing to do that? Are they willing to take that risk? Are they willing to go for greatness? I don't know. That's what we don't know.
I'd agree there. I hope so. I hope so, because otherwise that'll be a shame, man. Who do you think wins that fight? Miguel, who wins that fight? Spence or Crawford?
Yep. I will say Crawford.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Why do you think he beats Crawford? Why do you think Crawford beats Spence?
I think Crawford has he's a bigger puncher, and I see him with he has more movement.
Bigger puncher.
You know, I don't think Spence has I don't think Spence has the punching power, to be honest with you, to stop him. And I think that Crawford is a lot slicker fighter.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I think Crawford. What do you think, Ash?
I don't agree with that, because he's stronger than Crawford in power. He's bigger, and when you talk about boxing, he hasn't. When you talk about, he's only shown that he can walk someone down and beat him to the body and stop him. But he's got that in his locker. He doesn't need to. He hasn't shown it the way Crawford just boxes. You know what I mean? Like just a pure boxer. Spencer is not a pure boxer. He's a boxer puncher. So I think I favor Errol Spence, because he's always been at that weight. He's been with better competition. He's if you want to take sparring into it, he's sparred the best guy in the last decade, Mayweather. So if you can't box, then how's he gonna stay in with him? He's not. You understand what I'm trying to say? So taking all that into account, obviously I think Crawford is a tough fighter. He's obviously top fighter. I just think Errol Spence is just slightly better than him in a lot of ways. Just slightly better than him.
You think Terence Crawford is better than him?
No, Spence.
Oh, Spence is better than him. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I agree with Ash, man. I think. Well, I mean, now because of the eye, I'm not sure. But before the eye issue, I had Spence slightly the favorite. I just kind of felt like he's gonna be too strong, too big. I think he'd be able to outwork Crawford. I think he'd be able to outwork Crawford. I don't think Crawford's ever been in there with a guy that big. I'm not sure Crawford's ever been in there with a guy that good just overall, plus that big. So it's a combination of things, right? Like I agree that Crawford is a better fighter skill wise overall, right? He's probably a more skilled fighter, but I don't know, man. I feel like Spence is more proven in that weight class, and he's a guy who's got very good stamina, and I just think that if he went with the right game plan, which would be not to necessarily box Crawford, because I think that would be a mistake. If he went out there and put pressure, used his jab, cut off the ring, go to the body, I feel like he has the durability. I honestly don't think Crawford, even though I know Crawford's a good puncher, I can't say that at the welterweight division. I'm not 100% sure, and I think Errol Spence has a pretty good chin. I've never seen Spence hurt to the point where like where I'm gonna question Spence's durability or his chin. I think he could take a punch, and I think he would outwork Crawford in a super close fight. Maybe split decision.
There's two
Just to
comments
add to
here.
that, Imran.
One sec. I'll come to you, Ash, after this. James Deere, I like both, but Spence is just too big and strong, says James Deere. And then what's it called? Zakamo says, agree with the speaker. Terrence Power is dangerous and great skills. I don't know how Spence beats Terrence. You can see Spence flaws in Mikey Porter fights. And then Sign Cutter says, Alvarez should stay away from 175, go 160 after defending against Benavidez, and maybe Bivol at 168. So yeah, what do you guys think about what Zakamo and James are saying? James is saying Spence is too big and strong. Zach is saying that Terrence is just dangerous. Power is dangerous, and he's got great skills. So now Spence beats Terrence. All you can see Spence's flaws in Mikey and Porter fights.
Well, James, the homie James finally got something right, so I got to give him props there. But as far as Zach, I'm not sure what flaws is he talking about in the Mikey fight. I'm not so sure because there was no fight. Mikey didn't even fight, so
yeah, like
maybe he can elaborate a little bit more on that because I'm not sure what he means by what flaws he's talking about in that fight. As far as the Porter fight, yeah, I guess you could see some flaws there, but Porter's he's no pushover. Yeah, he's no pushover, so you expect a competitive fight, you know. And he was able to drop Porter. I thought he won a clear competitive fight, and I didn't see anything that would tell me that Crawford. I mean, again, I'm expecting a super close fight. This isn't if Crawford were to outbox Spence to a decision or something like that, because I don't think he would. He's capable of knocking Spence out. But if he'd be able to win the decision, I'm not going to be surprised. You know, it's not going to be shocking or anything like that. I'm just giving Spence a slight edge.
Sign Cutter says Crawford hasn't proved anything at 147 that says he would dominate Spence. Ash.
What I was going to say was basically, I can confidently say that Cal Brook at 147 hits harder than Velasquez, doesn't he? The guy, Velasquez was the guy that fought Philippine. Who was it just now? The one that dropped Terence Crawford.
Yeah. I don't know. That's hard one, man. Velasquez can punch as well.
In my opinion, I think Cal Brook is maybe slightly harder than him. And Errol Spence didn't get hurt from Cal Brook when he fought him, and he's a bigger guy. So going to power, Terence Crawford can't hurt him with the power. So if you only think Terence Crawford's got in that fight is skill. When you go back to the Porter fight, say when Terence Crawford does fight Porter, if his skills are not enough to keep him off, he can't brawl with Porter. He'll get hurt in there then. Where Errol Spence could do both. Where he thought, okay, you know what, Sean Porter doesn't want to box, we'll brawl with Sean Porter, and he brawled with him and he beat him comfortably. But I can't see Crawford doing that. So where you're saying Errol Spence can't box, you just haven't seen him do it as much as he does the other bit. You get what I mean? Where he just turns to he'll just stop here. We just, you know what I mean? If he has to box, where we showed in the Mikey fight, where he boxed Mikey's head off, and Mikey is not a guy that you can box like that. He's got skills, and he just boxed his head off. It was easy for him. So that just tells you he has got them skills. So I rate Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford I only don't rate him on his record. His record, he hasn't, fought guys in their prime, champions are really tough fights. Like, if you look at Errol Spence, he had an accident, came back for Danny Garcia. Do you know what I mean? Where Crawford's fighting guys like, I understand when you come up with a division, you don't fight the champion straight away unless you're something special. And I can't really remember anyone coming up and fighting a champion straight away. So he's had these fights where he's fought guys that are like, that have fringes guys. Right now, he should have been fighting guys like, he should have already have fought Thurman yesterday. Not Thurman, Porter. He should have already have fought Porter. He's had about 5 fights. How many fights has he had at welterweight? 4, 5, something, at least 4.
Yeah, loads. He's at, so basically 4 Horn.
Yeah.
4 Horn. Then he fought Benavidez.
Then
Kavaliauskas and Kell Brook.
5 guys, and none of them guys you can say are on the level of a champion at that weight. You know what I mean? So you see his fault as well. Then you can't really be asking for 60, 60, you know what I mean, like 50-50 or whatever. But you know, you haven't done nothing in the division. You know, you just got the belt of Jeff Horn. When I can guarantee you, Sean Porter would have beat him, Keith Thurman would have beat him, any of the top guys would have beat Jeff Horn had that belt.
When you have two fighters that have a massive, like let's say a huge sample size, right? And we've seen them for years and years and years and get challenged. It's much easier to analyze a fight like that and to kind of guess or you know have like a more accurate analysis on what's going to happen. But this is what makes that fight intriguing, is that to a certain extent both guys still have a lot to prove, especially at the welterweight division with Terrence Crawford. So it's kind of like, you know, a situation where there's a lot of question marks. You know, we don't know. And those are the type of fights where I think guys are going to get exposed. Both of them are going to get exposed, I think, to a certain extent. I think Crawford's going to get exposed. Errol Spence is going to get exposed. Who's going to win? I mean, it's anybody's guess. It could be anybody, really. But that's what makes that fight intriguing, right? Because it's like you especially Crawford, at least for me, Crawford is a guy who I feel like he's, oh, man, like, you know, I want to give him the credit because I can see it. The eye test tells me that. But history also tells me, also proves, as proven time and time again, that you never really know how great a fighter is until they challenge themselves to the max, because that's when you get exposed. That's when you see the flaws. So until that happens, you know, I don't really know what to expect from a guy like Crawford. I'm not 100% sure. Like, I think anything could happen. So I give the slight edge to Errol Spence.
Yeah. See, how are you, bro?
Oh, pretty good, man. Pretty good. And yourself? How's everybody doing?
Good, man. All good.
Good, man.
Good.
Yeah. As for Crawford, what's it called? I think Benavidez exposed him. If you remember the first 3 rounds, he kind of dazed them. He had him, but you got to remember, Benavidez got shot on the leg, and he almost had that career-ending injury. So he was exposed by him, you know. So he's gonna get exposed. I think he's just been fortunate with the opponents he's had, but ultimately he's gonna get dropped. He's suspect. I don't think he's that great, to be honest with you. He hasn't had a challenge. I mean, who has he fought? I mean, really, who has he fought?
Yeah.
The only big name Benavidez, but I get it. But if you look at Benavidez, he got shot. They had told him he was never going to box. 2 years after, he goes and fights Crawford. So, I mean, he hasn't fought anybody. So that's why a lot of people attack Canelo, keep saying that Canelo's a cherry picker. But Canelo fought a lot of people when he was still a young boxer. Like, he still didn't have that manpower. He was only 22, 23-year-old. You know, and you don't even have that manpower. He's already fighting Mayweather and everybody, you know. So now that he's at his prime, there's really no one out there to fight him. Like, no one wants to fight him. You know, everybody wants that bag, but nobody wants to fight each other for the chance to fight him. They just want that fucking paycheck.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's all about, you know, skipping your way to the top and getting that dough.
I've even heard a lot of people say that Gamboa was outboxing Crawford before Gamboa got knocked out.
Yeah.
So there's
time as well.
Right. But remember, Gamboa was a small.
Yeah, he was small guy.
I mean, like really, really small. You know, so you know he's been. I mean, if you want to call that, you know, getting exposed, he's shown, you know,
abilities. Yeah.
This, you know, weaknesses, if you want to call it that. He's shown, you know, stuff where it makes you think like, you know, the guys can take advantage of. But I don't know, man. It's because this is a different weight class, man. You know, we're going based on the 140, the 135, the 130, everything below a welterweight. Welterweight is a different monster, bro. It's another weight class where a lot of things change, man. So unless you have to kind of prove yourself there again, you know, we can't go based on the past.
Yeah, Dundada says Gamboa was on the pound for pound list. What are you talking about, Mike?
Yeah, well, that's my point. That's my point. But Gamboa is not viewed like Crawford, right? Like Crawford is supposedly the second coming of Sugar Ray Leonard. So if we're gonna view Crawford on that level, then you wouldn't expect a little guy who's coming up to Crawford's weight class, who's not even in that weight class, to make Crawford look bad like that. If people are going to assume that Crawford is that great of a boxer, like, so again, I'm not saying Crawford is not a great fighter. That's not what I'm saying. So only because I'm pointing certain things out about Crawford, that doesn't mean people got to get sensitive and take it as if I'm saying that, hey, Crawford's a bad fighter or he's not a great fighter or anything like that. No, I'm just saying, hey, he's not perfect, and he still needs to prove himself at 147.
He hasn't
been challenged.
He hasn't what's it called? Rise to the occasion. He hasn't had that fight. Like, what was that fight Canelo had? I think Cotto. That's when Canelo defined himself as a good fighter. When he fought Cotto after Cotto. If you look at Cotto's fight, that's where he changed his whole dimension. That's where he went from a flat foot boxer to a counter puncher that's pushing you forward, which is rare to see. So he build his artillery to the point where like he can adapt to any boxer. Crawford is yet to get challenged. He's still the same counter quick on the feet and everything, but he hasn't gotten challenged by anybody.
Yeah, in order to elevate your game, you need the opponent. You need the opponent so that opponent can make you rise to the occasion, possibly, and make everyone feel like, hey, you know what? This guy's better than I thought. It depends, right? It depends. It could be the other way around too. It could be like, you know what? He's not as good as I thought. Or Crawford could prove everybody right or wrong, depending on what side you are, and make me think like, you know what, man, this guy's way better than I thought he was. So if he went out there and he schooled a guy like Errol Spence, then now I'm going to look at Crawford on a completely different level, right? I'm going to look at him at a completely different level.
That's true. That's a test.
He had the opportunity to go over to BBC. He didn't do it.
The thing is that they have hostages over there, man. They're holding everybody hostage, and if you notice, even the boxers are like in the military, like they all follow suit. Like if they don't like a certain boxer, they all agree. Like it's weird. Like it's a cult what they have going on over there. But they won't fight each other. Like they should fight each other. If you want to, because at the end of the day, it's you yourself, not the whole. It's like it's your career. You know what I'm saying? You're not depending on the next man, and it's like everybody's depending on everybody. Like they should all be fighting each other. Benavidez should have fought Caleb Plant, Charlo. They should have already been fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like Canelo shouldn't have to go and get all the belts and go and give these guys a handout. That's what he's doing. So basically, all these guys got to do is win one fight and become undisputed, while Canelo went and collected all these belts. You might say they were all Uber drivers or whatever, but here's the thing. An Uber driver will get lucky once in a while. Look at Reese. Perfect example. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Everybody has an off day. Canelo might just have that off day, and that nobody could just catch him. And that's what I'm saying. Like, all these dudes are just standing around waiting for that call instead of fighting each other and building that resume. And then, these YouTube channels pump them up when they really ain't about nothing. They haven't proven anything.
I'd agree.
And then here's the thing. Like, if you also look at Chavez, when Canelo fought Chavez and Chavez was talking all this trash, he told him, what about this? Let's put my purse against your purse. He backed out right away. I bet you if he did that to all these dudes wolfing at him, nobody would want to fight him. Because it's not about the belt or the legacy. It's about the bag. If you was to tell him, let's put the bag on the line, all of them would fold. Period. It's that he did that to Chavez. His dad had to go get that bag back from him.
Yeah, there's reports. I'm reading reports right now. They just reported like an hour ago where they're saying that the purse bid for Crawford and Porter is delayed which means that they're what they're saying is that it means that they're probably going to strike a deal.
Oh, is it?
They want extra time so that they could kind of like, continue to negotiate and get the deal done. So if that's true, then that's great news.
That'd be the first test for him at welterweight then.
Yeah, Porter is nice. I like Porter. He's nice. He can move.
Porter's gonna give him a tough one.
Hawk Mustang says, I think he's basically saying Crawford fought Kell Brook and Amir Khan, but both are shot fighters.
Amir's got his chin is suspect, but other than that, the dude is a student of the game. He can box. If his chin was a little bit stronger, he'd be up there, man. He's got the Mayweather style as far as the offense, but that chin is just suspect.
He's talking about
Amir Khan.
Oh, Amir Khan.
Basically, what I was going to say was, they were shot, but Crawford put him away. You know what I mean? So it's a good performance from Crawford.
Hello?
Yeah.
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 Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Hey, guys. I gotta go. Gotta go to the store. I gotta do some chores. And nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, nice talking to you
guys.
All right, man.
Take care, man. Take care.
It's a pleasure. All right. So let's do it again.
Nice one.
Well, man. Take care, Miguel.
Thank you. Bye.
I'm not sure. Hey, I'm not sure why they keep bringing up Kell Brook and Amir Khan, man. I mean, I don't understand that, dude. Like, these guys were way past it, man. Like, way past it, dude. Like, those guys weren't like bodies anymore, man. Like, come on, dude. Like,
I'd have to give you that.
They can't get over that shit, dude. Like, Jesus
it's
Christ.
A bit like having a name on your record, though, isn't it? It's like having a name on your record like once a ton of. See, those fights for Crawford 10 years, like if he had fought Khan 7-8 years prior, when Khan fought Alexander or someone like that, that's a completely different fight. I'm not saying Khan wins that fight, but it's a completely different fight to what it was when it happened. And same with Kell Brook. If he fought Brook probably prior to the Golovkin fight, that's a completely different fight, man. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, when people make those comments, man, they made me think that they just started watching boxing like maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, or they don't know Amir Khan of the past or Kell Brook, like 5, 6, 7, 10 years ago, because it's obvious. It's obvious. I mean, like, anybody who's been following boxing knows that Kell Brook and especially Amir Khan, the hunger was not there anymore. Like, these guys are fighting just to stay active and maybe get some money, and that's it. That's it. Like, Amir Khan once upon a time was a big name. He's just a name now. He's just a name now. You know what I mean? That's it. But as in terms of
Khan, Amir Khan, he's a trooper, dude. Hey, he was beating Canelo. He was beating him, and he fought a bigger Canelo too. So you got to give him props. I give him his props. If that chin would have been nice and solid, I think he could have beat Canelo. He was just forcing him to fight a different fight.
You know what?
So Khan is the fighter. Khan's a good fighter, man. It's just his chin, unfortunately.
That was that Canelo. That's what I mean. That Amir Khan that fought Canelo, right? That would have been a dangerous fight for Crawford.
I think Crawford would have still beat him because the British fighters.
Yeah, I think his boxing IQ is better.
Yeah, that's it. It's the IQ of the British fighters is not good. I don't know if you can name me a fighter that's got really good IQ. Even up to
Lennox.
Maybe, I mean, recent years now.
Even
AJ, even like AJ has to look to the corner to see what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think they're naturally that. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they're the most skilled guys.
So the skills are there. So Amir Khan is the type of guy that will throw the same punches at the same speed, at the same velocity in every round. Where then Terence Crawford is the type of guy who will read that or will change the speed up, change the power on the punches and stuff like that. That comes with all the IQ.
You know what it is.
So
you know what it is. You know what, you get some like world-class fighters, Ash, like, the thing is with Khan, because he was so fast, and he was so much faster than everybody else. some of the world-class fighters just couldn't deal with it. You know what I mean? Like
They
they
got flustered.
just got in there and they got outclassed because it was just so fast. And they were like, whoa, what's this? Like even Danny Garcia said, man, he goes, I didn't know what was going on. I felt like the referee was hitting me. Like, you know, because so a lot of the world-class fighters can't adapt. You know, the elite fighters, right?
That's what I'm on about. Yeah,
they'll outbox for 3-4 rounds like Canelo was, but then they'll start reading it and then they'll start setting their own traps. They'll start doing things that'll put him on, make him wary, you know what I mean? And then make him make mistakes. But only the real fighters could do that. Do you know what I mean? Like your Canelos, like your Crawfords, like your other world-class fighters, right? So that's why I felt like someone like Amir, right? Even though he had a suspect chin, he would beat most of the world-class fighters because they couldn't deal with it. He was so naturally gifted, they couldn't deal with it unless they caught him with a punch. But he just outboxed you all day long. But against the real elite fighters, I'm talking your pound for pound number 1 or 2 guys, right?
The Pacquiao's and the Mayweather's.
Yeah. Like those type of guys, man, they'd find a way. Do you know what I mean?
Amir Khan had a lot of talent, but he had one massive problem, was the chin. But I think another thing that probably affected him a little bit is like I'm not too sure about his background, but I think a better trainer would have probably been better for Amir Khan. It would have taught him a little bit better defense. Because I felt like a lot of times he would get caught with punches that he probably shouldn't have gotten caught. And just to be a little bit more, you know, more technical, you know what I'm saying? Because as far as his hand speed, his athleticism, you know, I think he proved the type of heart he had, you know, with going up and fighting Canelo Alvarez, and even the times other fights when he got dropped, when he got hurt, he would always try to get back up, you know, and he would try to you know, grind it out, and you know, he had a lot of natural talents, man. But I don't know, maybe they pushed him a little bit too hard too soon, and you know, some tweaks here and there, and maybe it's a little bit of better luck. He probably would have been a little bit bigger. But I mean, he still had a great career. Who wouldn't want to have his career, dude? I mean, shit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, of course.
No, he also took his career in his hands. You gotta remember, he also took his career in his hands. Like, he was his own promoter. Like, he would be there negotiating his fight. So that's why it was kind of hard for him to get like a good trainer. Because remember that Canelo fight, he even said it. I picked up the phone and I negotiated everything. Like, he was his own negotiator. That's why it was easy for him to get fights. Because he'd be like, all right, boom, 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 fuck it.
Regardless of his weaknesses, bro, you know,
you gotta give him his flowers. The dude fought everybody.
Khan was talented enough to the point that even Floyd didn't want to fight him.
Yeah, that is true. That I remember. He dodged them.
You know, but Mike, that was Canelo was never a right fight for Khan anyway. Because Canelo was too big and too strong.
Yeah. It was a stupid fight.
Yeah, a stupid fight, really. Yeah, we did well for a couple of rounds, but that we always knew the fight was going to end that way, right?
Yeah, because that's a type of matchup. You know, a lot of people were making too much of the fact that, you know, Amir Khan was, you know, depending on how you had the fight. I thought the fight was close all the way to the end. But you know, depending on how you have it, that's usually what you see with a lighter guy compared to a heavier guy. You know, the lighter guy is gonna look faster. He's gonna look like he's winning. He's doing the, you know, damage and this and that. And the bigger guy just waiting. It's like boom, it's just one shot and it ends a fight. That's just the way it is, you know.
And to Cruz and Davis.
Yeah.
Right. If you put a super middleweight, you throw him at heavyweight. The super middleweight is gonna make the heavyweight look bad for a couple of rounds, and then after he gets hit, it's over.
Yeah.
But in Khan's defense, you got to give him the props, so because you got to look at it this way: he took that risk against Canelo because if he beats Canelo, he's the face of boxing. Period. So in that situation, he had to take it. He had to take it, and that's why I'm like, he took it undersized, knowing that he has a suspect chin. But you got all these other boxers on the PVC not trying to catch the smoke, and it's like, come on, dude! Like, this dude is undersized. This is his only chance, and dude took it. You know. You
know what makes it even more great though. The fact that Amir Khan didn't need to take that chance because unlike other boxers, right? Amir already had a big name. He was already a multi-millionaire at that point. So he already secured the bag before the Canelo fight.
Yeah.
And the fact is, he had other big fights at welterweight, that's why it's crazy. He had other big money fights. Maybe not as big as Canelo financially. Maybe the Kell Brook fight would have been as big financially.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's what makes it think that he dared to be great. Whereas some of these guys like Charlo and Andrade, right? And this is the point I wanted to make to Mike. Mike talked about Andrade's career has been going on since 2007. When Amir was in his prime, Andrade was fighting and he was a world champion. And how long ago was Amir's prime? 2011, 12. I remember Andrade was fighting as a top fighter in that. I'm saying he was a champion at 154. He beat Brian Rose. He was defending his world title. And that was in 2012 or 13 when Amir was in his prime. Amir's washed up now in 2021, right? He's done. His career's over. He's about Andrade's age. He's about 34. And Andrade still hasn't had a meaningful fight yet. Amir's had flipping, 16 former world champions. And Andrade,
they're chasing the chick. It's about that chick, bro. It's not the legacy. It's the chick.
Right.
They're chasing the chick. He's looking for that one big chick.
Compare their careers. I saw, and like I'm Andre talking about it, Canelo fought Amir Khan, right? But he didn't fight. He didn't fight me and stuff. But the fact is, look at what Amir's done in his career and the names that he's beat, and compare that to the names that you beat. Right. And you've been around at the top around the same time. If anything, you've been in your peak, because people still say Andrade's in his peak. Right. But yet we're still talking about him. When's he going to fight, Mike? When's he going to fight a top guy? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he washed up his career. I mean, he could have fought Charlo. He could have been building his resume and then be a good contender. But he just Uber drivers.
Yeah,
that's all it is, man. It's unfortunate because
look, man. If Rigon Dow, bro, who trolls people on purpose, bores people to death on purpose, and he laughs at the fans, like he enjoys it. If that dude can get a Donaire, a Lomachenko, and a Casemiro, I don't want to hear excuses for Andre, bro. I don't want to hear excuses for Andre.
That's true.
Yeah. What a frustrating career, Mike, though, Rigondow's was as well. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, man. That guy, I don't know what to say about Rigo. He was super gifted. He's just one of those guys that mastered a specific style that almost nobody likes. And that's what sucks about him, right? Because he's a very talented guy, but he's not blockbuster. He's not the type of guy who's gonna go out there and go above and beyond, and then what he knows what to do, and he's not gonna try to please fans. He's gonna do his thing, and he's cool about it. He doesn't give a shit, man. I mean, he says it in interviews all the time in Spanish, like he's hilarious. To me, a lot of people hate him because of that. I don't hate him. I think he's funny as hell, but Rigondeaux is a guy, man, that he's like you say, super talented, but just, man, that style is just not, I don't know, man. Like he's not versatile, but but at what he does, he's a master at what he does.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Can hear you.
But as far as the Caleb Plant and Canelo, I feel that Caleb Plant will touch up Canelo somehow.
Campos, how's it going?
Yeah, I just wanted to greet the guys on the panel, and then I know the subject's kind of jumping around. What's the subject at right now?
We're just talking about anything. You go ahead, man. Give your thoughts.
On which fighters or on which fight?
And anything. Canelo,
Andrade, if you want.
On Charlo, whatever, man.
A couple. Well, Andrade, the reason he's not a bigger star is he avoided all of the big fights. Andre mentioned that why didn't Canelo fight him at 154, or that Canelo's been ducking him ever since. But Andre's the same guy that chose to fight Kolke instead of fighting Mara.
Yep.
Andre's the same guy that did not want to fight Derevyanchenko when Derevyanchenko was undefeated. So my main complaint or my main criticism of Canelo is Canelo should have fought him at 160. That didn't happen. Okay. But Andrade avoided all the big fights, and it's kind of hard not to agree with most people that that Andre is protecting his record for a payday. Is that pretty safe to say?
Yeah, I think that's what the guys have been saying, that that it seems like Andrade is just waiting out for that big payday.
And then as far as Andre being at his prime, the only reason people say he's still at his prime, he really hasn't been tested. He's made fights look difficult. His last two fights, he made them look very difficult. So I believe that he's not in his prime. Or if he was in his prime, are we just guesstimating it because of age? Because I've never seen a spectacular performance. I've never seen it with Andre. The Koke fight was closer than people remember.
Yeah, I'd
There's
agree.
there was another fighter. There's another fighter. I forgot who it was, where they asked Andre to bottom, or the fighter called Andre out. I don't know if it was Benavidez. I forgot who it was, where he was like, "Oh, he's not a champion, so he's got nothing to offer, so I won't fight him." I forgot who it was.
Benavidez.
Okay.
Benavidez. And
right, so,
then as far as Regendow could have gone down in history as one of the best 122 pounders, but we got to remember Twig, Frampton, Mares, and Santa Cruz all avoided him. And the PBC locked Regendow out, just like how they're going to lock out. Yeah, Inuya is going to have a hard time becoming undisputed with the PBC having those belts. He wants to fight him. Is that going to happen? I'm disappointed right now with the way fights don't happen, and I'm just so disappointed because early on, years ago, I used to be a supporter of the PBC. Remember, they used to tell us they were going to give us free fights. It was not going to be pay-per-view, and it was going to be on public network. We weren't. The fights weren't always going to be on premium cable channels. Not always. That didn't happen. And we're mentioning Spence and Crawford. I just don't see that Spence and Crawford fight ever happening. I've been up. I'm looking forward to Ennis, who's another PBC fighter. I'm looking forward to Ortiz, maybe Clint, maybe James. I'm looking forward to Conor Benn. That's a guy that doesn't get mentioned at welterweight. And I'm looking forward to Josh Taylor. Josh says he wants to move up. Let's see what he does. I'm pretty much done with Crawford, Spence, especially Keith Thurman. That guy fell from grace. Porter, I don't know. I like Porter. He's a classy guy. I've always liked Porter. But I don't see him doing anything. What's the latest on the purse bid for Crawford and Porter?
They say they've delayed it because they're looking to strike a deal. The two promotional companies.
I'm pessimistic. I'm pessimistic about that fight happening.
I hope so. I hope it does.
What did you think about that Derevyanchenko and Andrade not following through? That would have been a good one. Wasn't
And
it supposed
I
to happen like 2 years ago?
Yeah, something like 1.5 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, that would have been a good
And
one.
I favored Sergey in that fight.
Me too.
But again, I still want to see Canelo fight Andrade. I still want to see that fight. I want to see Canelo fight Charlo. I would like to see him fight Bivol and Beterbiev. Those are good fights.
Why is it that you want to see him fight Andrade? Like, what is it about him that? Why do you feel like it's a challenge for Canelo to fight him, or why is it even worth his time to go and fight this person when there's bigger and better trophies out there?
Well, I support boxing more than I support an individual fighter. And my criticism of Canelo should have fought him at 160. That it would have been over and done. On to the next one. It didn't happen.
But let's just say he fights him and he beats him.
So, but hold on, CV. Who did Canelo fight instead of Andre?
Hold on. He fought. That was around when it was at 54, 55. It was Cotto. Then it was.
No, he's saying 160. That he should have fought him at 160. So
you said sorry. I thought you were asking who he fought instead. That's what.
Yeah, who did he fight instead?
Okay. Well,
who he fought instead was
Canelo.
Kovalev. That's who he
understood. But Canelo out of his and you're right. But Canelo out of his own mouth in Spanish said, "I want to unify 160." Reynoso said the same thing. This isn't the reporters. This isn't me. This isn't you. That came out of his mouth, and he didn't do it. That's racism. So now he says he wants to unify 168. He's doing it. Good. But why didn't he do it at 160? And that's what leaves it open for people to criticize. I'm not saying criticize in a negative. I'm saying it constructively. He said, "I'm going to unify 160."
I get you. I agree.
But this is my beef. This is my beef. In defense to Canelo, it's like, look how hard it's been to unify 168, and this is out of Canelo's reach. So yeah, he might have said that, but behind closed doors, a lot of stuff goes on. So like, perfect example with Caleb Plant, right? Look how hard it was for him to even negotiate this fight, right? Can you imagine all the stuff he would have had to go through to negotiate to? I get it. I get that they're both on the zone and whatnot, but there's other belts elsewhere that he would have to get, right?
No, but this is the bigger thing with me, though. This is a bigger thing. There was reports, I think it was Mike Coppinger at one point, where they were saying that Canelo's team was actually negotiating with Andre.
Yeah,
there was reports out there. But hold on. But this is the point that I'm going to make. Only because someone says, "I want to do this," it doesn't mean that they can't change their mind. And if you're going to change your mind because you're going to move up to 175 and fight Kovalev and test yourself out there, that is a greater win on your resume than fighting Andre, in my opinion, and being a 4-division champion. Even if Kovalev was not the peak Kovalev, in my opinion, that is a greater win than beating Andre, who has nothing on his resume. And 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, if you were to beat Andre, they're going to look back and say, "Who the fuck was Andre? Andre was a nobody." Yeah. But hold on. Aside from that, I also think that he has the right to change his mind because he beat better fighters at 160. If he beat Triple G and he beat Jacobs, why can't a guy say, "You know what? Fuck this. I'd rather go here and fight this guy instead, or rather go here and do what benefits me instead. And if I feel better in this weight class, I'll unify. I'll be undisputed here," because this is what that also does. Only because Canelo is at 168 and he chose not to unify at 160, that doesn't mean that he can't fight Charlo still, or that he can't fight Andre still, or that he can't fight Benavidez. He could still fight these guys. Like, those fights aren't necessarily dead. They're not dead. So these guys are all around the same age. So if Andre, for example, if he chose to step up at one point in his career, right, and let's say he fought Charlo at once, at 160, or if he decided to move to 168, whatever the hell he wanted to do, and let's say he were to beat Charlo, now it becomes a situation where I think Canelo can be criticized and say, hey, you can't really avoid this dude now, bro, because he just beat Charlo, and now more fans, not just his fucking fanboy minority group, but more fans are actually asking for that fight. But I'm not going to criticize Canelo Alvarez because he said, "Oh, never mind. Never mind being undisputed at 160, even though I already beat Triple G, even though I already beat Daniel Jacobs, who are better, and I'm gonna move up to 175 to fight Kovalev." Because if at that point it's almost like unfair, because now we're just criticizing for any little reason.
Well, it's not a little reason. This is what came out of his mouth. And about you mentioning, well, things happen behind open doors. Well, a Kovalev is a better fight. That's all anecdotal. I'm going off of facts. And the fact is, Canelo.
So how many times have Andre said something and it didn't come true?
We're not talking about Andre, bro. This isn't.
What do you mean? You're
we're
talking about Canelo Andre. Canelo Andre.
I'm criticizing, bro. This is about Canelo saying fighting something Andre. And do it. That's it, bro.
Okay.
Bro.
Okay. But so, let's just get one thing clear. Okay, look, Canelo is 5'9". Just picture this, 5'9". The dude was at 152. He built himself fight after, because I was a hard critic of Canelo, but I had to step out to look at all of Canelo and what he's done. He built himself to be a fucking giant killer. Slowly. He fought a bunch of giants that were nobodies, but you got to remember this. The reach is always there. Reach and boxing IQ, you could knock somebody out. Don't matter if you're Uber driver or not. You know what I'm saying? And he fought dudes that were way, way, way taller than him and had more reach on him. He still went up there, took the challenge. I didn't see no one do that. The dude is 5'9". He's fighting King Kong Goliath, and people still want to call him a cherry picker.
He's 5'8", bro.
Okay.
5'8".
No, well,
you know what I'm saying? Like 5'8".
But this is
5'8". Period.
This is
give him his flowers.
Let me just say this just to end it, bro. I'm not saying that CV doesn't have a point, bro, in terms of criticizing Canelo.
Oh, he does.
What I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is that if you're going to criticize Canelo for that move, even after the other moves that I just mentioned, the moves that he made, then dude, let's criticize everyone then. Let's criticize everyone. Let's criticize Andre. Let's criticize Charlo. Let's criticize Triple G. Let's criticize Benavidez. Because that's a type of criticism that every boxer is going to get. That's the type of criticism. Boxers, every single time they say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move here. I'm going to fight this guy. I want to be this. I want to be that. And the majority of the time, it doesn't happen. Or half the time, it doesn't happen. For different circumstances. It doesn't always have to be because someone is ducking or because someone is afraid of someone or because of this and that. It could be because of promoters. It could be because the money wasn't right. It could be because shit, I just changed my mind. I changed my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like I had this plan, but now I have this other plan. So does that mean that Canelo can't get criticized? No, of course he could get criticized. But if we're going to criticize him for that, then we could line up. We could make a long list, bro. A long list.
The CV guy, right? All you got to do is he said it himself. I'm a fan of boxing. So
exactly.
Does he think that Andrade fight is better than a Triple G fight, than Jacob fight? Does he think that? So you know what I'm saying? You got to go sit back and ask yourself that, because if not, then you're being a hypocrite. You're saying you're a fan of boxing, right? So obviously you want to see good fights. Why would you want to see him fight Andrade when he could fight Triple G, which he did? He fought Jacob. He fought all these other fighters instead of fighting that boring ass fighter. I mean, straight up, the dude. I don't like his style myself. I don't, and I'm not hating on him. Like straight up, I don't. Just like I didn't like Canelo's old style of boxing. I just felt like he was stationary, you know what I'm saying? And now he's cutting the ring. He's transforming into a fucking boxer. And that's why I support him.
If you have Canelo's resume, bro, and you fought the fighters that he's fought, I think we should probably give him a pass for changing his mind every once in a while, don't you think?
Of course, of course.
Especially if it's a guy like Andre, bro. Like if it was Benavidez, then I'd probably have a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Benavidez is
viewed. It's a threat.
It's viewed as an actual threat by the majority of the people, not by a minority, but by the majority of the people. But if we're gonna kill him because he didn't fight Andre, and because he didn't fight John Doe, and because he didn't fight fucking, YZX fighter. I mean, come on, dog. Like, I mean, we could run that game, fool, for every fucking single fighter, bro. Honestly,
the thing is about Benavidez is that he's being put in the same predicament as Andrade, because what he's trying to do is he's trying to get all of 168, then probably go up to 175. Because if you look at his body, the dude is not a 168. He's not. The dude should be like 175 to heavyweight. Just look at his frame, dog. This dude can bang with the heavyweights because he's. Just look at his body. Look at how chubby he was, and the dude is a natural heavyweight or light heavyweight. So I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to clean up the 168, then go to 175, and probably heavyweight. He's still young and can do that, but waiting on that Canelo train is it's gonna take a while. He should just fight Charlo. He called out Plant. I don't know why Plant didn't fight him. They're in this. They could have fought him. I think he called him out 2 times.
And where's Imran? Is Imran alive or what?
I think he is.
He's probably took a break. I don't know.
No, his mic.
Oh, he says he's having issues.
Yeah, like how come Andrade don't fight Benavidez, or how come he don't fight Triple G right now? Triple G's out the door. Go fight him. Like, I'm sure Triple G will take an nice payday.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shit, I bet you Khan will fight fucking Andrade, and knock him out.
We put you to sleep, Imran.
No, man. The mic's not working. I was trying to get it sorted. I don't know what happened. I think I pressed something. And I disappeared, man. I disappeared.
Where's CV, man? CV took off.
Who's CV? I don't know, man. Don't know where he is.
Oh, I wanted to see what he was gonna say, man, but he took off.
Is that CV's here? CV.
Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Yeah. I got booted off. Someone criticizing. I do. Triple G. I do. I support boxing. So when Andrade is begging for a fight and getting it, it's his fault. He did the same thing to Jermell. What happened? That's the criticism other people have. Andrade. He goes and begs for a fight, doesn't follow through. So with Triple G, look who Triple G's fighting right now. Finally, he's going to unify. Murata's a champion. Whether he got elevated, whatever, that's a champion. I can support that. But what about the fights before? And the criticism that Triple G had with the original fight. What division was Canelo coming from? Triple G never took that risk. Did Triple G ever fight at 168? No. So all of these boxers, okay, but constructively. I'm not trying to defame them. I'm not defaming Canelo. I know what he's doing, but again, he said out of his own mouth, of what anyone says, it came out of Reynoso's mouth. We are going to unify 160. Happen. That's why I still want to see him fight Andrade. Now, you can tell me, well, what's the between Andrade? What's the difference between Charlo? There's no difference. They're both chumps. Both of them have done nothing. I still want to fight. I support boxing. Okay? So
you rather see
is going to continue on.
Here's the thing, though, bro. You have to remember this. If Canelo beats Andrade, they're gonna say he waited too long. He fucking got him out when he was out the door. There's always gonna be that criticism. So it's like I get what you're saying. He should fight a chump, but why fight a chump if you're a fan of boxing when there's better fights out there? Let the chump go fight someone else. Let the champ fight someone that's a fucking champ. Someone that's gonna give us a show.
Because
that's what I'm telling you. Because then you're contradicting yourself. Because you're saying you love the sport, right? You love the sport, but you want to see a fucking champion fight an Uber driver instead of seeing a champion fight a fucking contender, a true contender. That's loving the sport. Why should this guy get a handout when he ain't done nothing for his own career?
Don't you think Andre's a contender?
I don't think Andre's a contender. No way, dude. Come on, he hasn't been challenged at all. He dodged Derevchenko. I mean, Derevchenko, believe it or not,
on the eye test. On the eye test. On the eye test. See on the eye test. What do you think?
He's just not too. He's not disciplined.
He's a contender.
He's got it, but just not this. He overcommits. I don't think he's a contender.
Look,
he's not. He hasn't fought anybody. Give me somebody that he has beaten that can at least beat Cotto. Just give me somebody. Nobody. Period. There's Amir Khan can drop. What's his name? Andrade right now.
Okay.
I mean, this guy didn't want to fight Derevchenko. This guy didn't want to fight.
You just said nobody.
How come he doesn't fight Jacobs? They're both on the zone. He could go to 168. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does Jacobs up there? He's looking for an opponent. That fight is stylistically is a good fight. If you're a fan of the sport, that's a good fight.
And
Jacobs
CV,
Andrade.
CV,
right?
I have a question for you, dog. CV, you don't. I get what you're saying, dog.
Yeah,
and I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you as far as like your constructive criticism. But let me ask you a question. You don't think, dog, that every once in a while, if you're a guy who's been proven right by fighting top guys over and over, you don't think that those guys every once in a while deserve a pass here and there?
No.
Okay, so then there's no point of fighting top guys in.
And
right?
again,
so in other words, you're going to criticize Canelo Alvarez the exact same way for challenging himself, fighting top better guys, even in that division, and you're going to give him the same amount of criticism that you're going to give Andre for not doing half of what Canelo's done.
Let me ask you one question, bro.
I think I've
I'm gonna go off the topic.
Okay.
You're a fan of boxing, right? I just want because I'm bugging about something, and I'm gonna find out right now. Just one question: do you think Castillo on the first fight beat Mayweather?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yes.
Not a lot of people can accept that.
The difference about Mayweather,
he ran it. No excuses. He beat him. He dazed him, and he should have won the fight, but didn't. Do we agree with that? Perfect.
But the difference with Mayweather,
I just don't think that all criticism is the same.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Like, there's different levels. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Okay, look. The difference with Floyd, he ran it back. Look at Castano and Jermell. Jermell's not running it back. So, I expressed criticism for Andrade. I've expressed criticism for Triple G. I express criticism for Canelo. The issue is, you express criticism for Canelo, it's a big debate. It's not even a discussion. And like, people get into their emotions. Again, I'm only repeating what came out of Canelo's mouth. He's going to unify 160. He didn't. That's my criticism. He can fight Kovalev.
No, I get that.
He can go back and fight Andrade.
Look, I understand. It's not that it's a big debate emotionally, bro. It's just the fact that there's no way, man, that you cannot tell me that there's a big ass difference between the criticism that Andre gets and the criticism that you're bringing up specifically right now on not fighting Andre. Like you have to be able to differentiate as well. You can't just put everything on the same level. You know what I'm saying? Like when a guy challenges himself and he's fought better guys, I'm not saying you can't criticize. I'm not saying you can't say, hey, you know what? Maybe Canelo should have fought Andre, right? Okay, cool. But to go to the extent of getting upset or comparing it to the criticism that Andre gets, it's not even fair. It's not even fair. If you put yourself in the position of a fighter, and if I'm gonna go based on the way you view boxing, then shit, I'm not gonna challenge myself for what? Who gives a shit? I'm not gonna challenge myself, man. I'll just stick to fighting bums because I'm gonna get criticized the same as this dude over here who's getting criticized because he's not fighting every single dude that every single fan wants. Like it's the same thing. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be the same thing. So what is the point of Canelo fighting Triple G, fighting Jacobs, who everybody knows, the majority of the people, 90+% of the people know that they're better than Andre. But I'm going to sit here and create debates about not fighting Andre, who's the third or the fourth or the fifth best option. Shit, there's people that think that Andre's not even better than Charlo, man. So he might not even be the third best guy at 160.
Again.
Like, you know, these guys aren't robots, bro. Like, they could change their mind. They could change their mind, though, man. They could change their mind.
But the thing is like you're criticizing what he said of his mouth, what came out of his mouth, but you're holding that against everything that he's got this nice record, and you're holding that against him. Just that little bum that he didn't fight. So because he didn't fight this bum, you're holding everything he's achieved.
Guys, I'm not holding.
I'm critical about Canelo. Like Lara beat Canelo. Like, look, Lara beat Canelo.
Agreed.
Just like here's the, and I'm gonna give you a comparison: Trinidad versus De La Hoya. Why did De La Hoya lose that fight? Because he ran the fucking 12th round. That's why he lost that fight. Period. He had to fight one, but he started running around. Same thing with Canelo. He wasn't there. He couldn't catch up, and what's his Lara know how to use the ring. Canelo still didn't know how to cut the ring at that time. And I agree, he lost that fight. Now the Triple G fights, I think they were all ties, to be honest with you. And I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying, with the draws. But I'm critical about that. I think Canelo lost that Lara fight. I think, but again, that Canelo to this Canelo is a different animal.
What does Imran think?
Yeah.
You know what? I've been listening to you guys. And basically, in my opinion, right? I'm just at the point where, as I told Mike earlier, I want to see Andre fight somebody, man. I want to see him fight somebody. I'm getting frustrated with his career. It's getting to the point where I think Andre might be washed up. I don't even know. Like, he fought in his last fight against Williams. He didn't look great. You know, Liam Williams is a good fighter. I'm from the UK, so I know that Liam Williams is a good fighter. But having said that, with how much Andre gets hyped up, can you imagine Canelo in there with Liam Williams, and what would have happened to Liam Williams in that fight? You know, he probably wouldn't have made it past 6-7 rounds, and Canelo would have done it with quite convincingly. So the point I'm trying to make is that I just want to see Andre get a fight now. You know, he's done a lot of talking. There's been a lot said about him. I want to see him fight somebody, man. Charlo, Benavidez, just fight somebody, man, with, you know, that's world class. I'm not even saying fight somebody elite. Fight somebody that's world class, you know, and so we can find out how good Andre is. Because I don't even know, like I said, I think he may even be past his best. He's 34. And like I said to you, Mike, when Amir Khan was in his prime, right? And that was what, 2010, 11 best years. Andre was a champion at that point. We're now 9 years on from that. And he's still searching for his marquee fight. it's a long time ago that, you know, we're talking about a guy that was at 154 about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and he still hasn't found his big fight. So when are we gonna get this big fight? When is Andre gonna fight anyone of note? And at the minute, I don't even care if it's Canelo. I just want it to be someone of note, and that's why I brought it up earlier that I want to see Andre fight Charlo. Want to see him fight. I want to see him fight somebody. You know, because everyone talks about, see, there's not as much hype around Charlo as there's Andre. There's a lot of people that seem to think Andre's the next coming of, I don't know what, right? But we need to find out, and that's my point, man. I just want to see him fight anybody. I don't even think Andre's fought a Munguia level of type of fighter in his whole career. You know, so he hasn't though. He hasn't really. Has he fought anyone as good as Munguia?
No, man. Uber drivers and pizza. Uber drivers. That's it, man.
That's what's crazy about these conversations, man. That we could have a discussion just on Andre alone, and then, but for whatever reason, we rather debate on why Canelo hasn't fought Andre. Like, dude, that shit. Why? Like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? But everyone's entitled to their opinion. You know what I mean? It's you know, that's the beauty, I guess. So
if Canelo fights Andre and then wipes him out, then they'll say, well, oh, he made it, waited for him to get old.
That's what I've been saying. So there's no point on him fighting him. Exactly. That's exactly why. Because there's always something to talk about whenever he does it.
Or Andre was a hype job. That's what they're gonna say. Either that or that. Andre was a hype job. He was never that good.
You know what? What does he fight that other dude that? Oh my god! Hey? What's that dude he fought? That Canelo fought? I forget his name. From Turkey. Oh my god! How come he doesn't fight him? I mean, fuck.
That guy just lost. That guy just lost to a guy that's level. That's
a challenge for Andrade.
No, it's not, because that guy just fought a guy called Jack Cullen, right? Who's a domestic level fighter in Britain, and Jack Cullen beat him.
No, Andrew's better. Andrew's better for sure.
No, I'm saying that in terms of that being as a fight, that's a joke. That would be a joke fight. You know, that would be another, you know, cherry.
Yeah, I don't have issues with Andre as a fighter. I think he's a good champion. I just don't like the fact that he's been scheming and fucking planning and plotting his whole fucking career, and because of that, you know, he picks his times to call out certain fighters, and then it creates, you know, a lot of these debates, because when we know that what he's doing, you know what I mean? We know that he's fucking scheming out there, and because of that, it creates these debates where there's a lot of people who are going to be fans of Andre, who they're going to say, oh, Canelo's stuck, you know, and Canelo this and Canelo that, and this and that. And it's like, I mean, I guess it is what it is. You know, that's the fight game, because there's no structure. There's no structure to the fight game, and these fighters can do whatever they want. So this is always going to happen. That's what I was trying to tell CV. Like, the type of criticism, which he's not wrong, but that type of criticism, the way he looks at boxing, the way he criticizes boxers, he's going to criticize boxers his whole life. He's going to criticize every boxer for the rest of their life, because that's what's going to happen. Because it's impossible to please everyone with the way boxing is structured.
Exactly, and everyone is open to criticism. I have champions that I'm vested in. I still have criticisms for things that they did and they didn't do. Because overall, I support boxing. Plant, Andrade, Charlo, they're chumps. They're chumps. You can interchange either of the three, and it's a bum bash. Okay? So, I want to see Canelo fight Plant. It's happening for unification. Just like I wanted to see Canelo fight for undisputed unification. Just like I want to see Canelo fight Charlo. Now, Plant, you're talking about winning the lottery. Plant became a champion under the PBC protection. Look who he fought to become a champion. He fought nobody. At this point, and I'm being serious, I think Andrade is better than Plant, because Plant has done nothing but plant cake. And I'm out here in East Los Angeles. There's criticism of Canelo out here, but you know what? Canelo has gained new fans for this fight because they can't stand Plant, which is amazing. And Plant
Yeah, but
again,
I'm from
just
LA.
like
I'm from LA too. I'm from LA too, bro. But we gotta keep it real, dog. We gotta keep it real though, bro. Like Raza hates on Raza just for whatever bullshit reason.
That's
bro.
a fact.
I mean,
Well,
They're just
that's
obsessed.
okay.
They're just obsessed with.
Okay.
They're just obsessed with Canelo. They want him to lose. They just want to throw anybody that they think they could beat him instead of enjoying him. Like just enjoy this dude's fucking skills. Enjoy the show he puts on. Stop fucking hating and just watch how he enjoy his shit, dude. Because this is a once in a lifetime boxer. We're not gonna have another one like him for a while. Enjoy what we have. Trust me.
Understood, but first of all, I didn't bring anything about Raza. I'm talking everybody. I'm in a city that's very diverse, that covers many ethnicities and races, and Canelo has gained new fans for this fight because they can't stand Plant, because they view Plant as a chump and another cherry pick. Whether it is or isn't, to me, Plant, Andrade, and Charlo are interchangeable. They're all chumps. But I support boxing, and I want to see all of those fights happen. You may not want to see it, but I do because they're champions. I never criticized Canelo for going to fight Kovalev. Good for him. But I still want to see Canelo fight Andrade. Now, Andrade versus Charlo, I'm positive that's not going to happen because the PBC, Charlo's trainer themselves have said out of their own mouths that fight's a no-go.
Yeah, I don't think we disagree, bro, on your the main point that you're making. I don't think any of us are disagreeing with as far as like the criticism.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm disagreeing with is that they're not on the same level. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know, I'm not criticizing them all exactly the same. You know, there's guys that deserve way more criticism than others. That's all that I'm saying. But as far as like, if you give me a choice, if I had the choice and you ask me as a boxing fan, would I want Canelo to face Andre? Shit, I would want all these dudes to have a tournament and face each other. I mean, that's what I would want. I would want all of them. I would want all of them to have a tournament or a completely different structure, and all of them fight each other. All the welterweights, all the fucking middleweight, superweight, every tournament in every fucking weight class, so that we could know who the best guys in each weight class, you know, is. But that's not the reality of boxing, though. That's all that I'm trying to say. That's not the reality of boxing. So we have to be able to at least separate certain guys to others, right? Even though we can all agree that every boxer, to a certain extent, we could nitpick and say, you know, we could criticize everyone from Floyd to Manny Pacquiao to Chavez Sr., Canelo Alvarez. Name a fighter, bro, I'll criticize something about him. That's just the way boxing is, right?
Well,
exactly.
Does that mean Al Heyman is a cancer, bro? It's all it is. That's where it comes down to it. Al Heyman is a cancer. That's why we have these arguments between us boxing fans, because these guys are the puppet masters. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a promoter that's not supposed to be a promoter, but he's using the loophole. And Al Heyman is a fucking cancer, dude. And they all answer to him. If this dude says go shit out here, they'll go and shit out there. And unfortunately, until that dude does not get removed, we're gonna be in the same predicament. Unless these guys somehow get out of Al Heyman's fucking pocket, which I doubt it, but that's until that Al Heyman does not get removed, we're fucked. And it sucks because we're all paying, you know what I'm saying? We're all gonna pay for these fights. So why are they not making them? You know, it's fucking bullshit.
But there's there's got to be an onus on the fighters too, dog. Because I could pick out a fighter like Porter, for example, who's with PBC, and that motherfucker has fought everybody, bro. And he's trying to fight Crawford next. So a lot of these, I respect that. It's a combination. It's not just Al Heyman. You know, it's the fighters.
But it starts with him though, for the most part.
Yeah, he manages him. So for sure he advises them and tells them, hey, this is your best option here and there. But
Nah,
you know, at the
Porter's
end
a
of the
beast.
day,
Porter's a beast. Fuck yeah.
at the end of the day, you know, the fighters, they call their own shots too, you know.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything that you guys are saying. As far as PBC, again, I was an early supporter. I stopped being a supporter because I'm not paying $80 for, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing pay-per-view anymore when I pay for my DAZN membership. Yeah.
Those should be free fights. They should be free fights. Period. They because
They
I mean,
should,
you could go see some bum fights for cheaper. I mean, straight up, and that I fully, candidly agree with you. Like Al Heyman, it's just I don't know, man. Not even Oscar can negotiate with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're both, you know, from the same crop.
Right, but the thing is, the plant.
Well, where's everyone gone? Where's everyone gone, man? Everyone's just disappeared. Bloody hell, everyone's disappeared. Guys, man, I'm going to end the stream here. Looks like they've had connection issues and they've all disappeared. I don't know where they've gone. Mike's gone, C's gone, Campos. I don't know, maybe connection issues. But anyway, guys, I'll probably see you guys in the next video or next live stream. I'll hopefully do it on Friday. Have you seen the recent shot DAZN on thing? I'll see you guys in probably the next live stream tomorrow. We'll talk about this again in more depth. Obviously nearer to the fight. You know, Joshua's fighting soon, so hopefully he'll do something about that. But yeah, guys, appreciate everyone in the stream. Thanks to all the Campos, C, Mike, Stephen, everyone in the chat. Everybody, I appreciate your take. Thanks for coming on, for everyone. I don't know what's happened here. Sometimes you get, you know, these issues. But yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate it. See you guys in the next stream.